Buck Rogers. It's got everything in it, every ingredient. George made a movie that he wanted to see, not a movie that he thought the public would want to see, because if he thought that if he'd made a movie like that, we would be seeing a disaster film again or something like that, probably.
A touch of the Flash Gordons as well in this.
It's got whatever you want it to be. It's a pure entertainment. It's like a roller coaster ride, and it can be interpreted as long as you enjoy it, which is the intention of it.
Something that George initially set out to do was a kind of 3-act saga with these 3 trilogies, and I think we felt that we should honor and respect that.
Liar! Liar! Liar!
Luke would never say that. I'm sorry. Well, in this version, see, I'm talking about the George Lucas Star Wars. This is the next generation of Star Wars. So I almost had to think of Luke as another character. Maybe he's Jake Skywalker. He's not my Luke Skywalker.
I think that the thing that George never did was maintain the status quo. And I think that that's really important because...
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you!
He's not my Luke Skywalker. I said to Ryan, I said, Jedis don't give up. I mean, even if he had a problem, he would maybe take a year to try and regroup. But if he made a mistake, he would try and right that wrong. So right there, we had a fundamental difference. Who is this guy? How did the most optimistic, hopeful character in the galaxy turn into this hermit who says it's time for the Jedi to end? I read that and I said, what? I mean, that's not what a Jedi does. I mean, a Jedi is optimistic. A Jedi has tenacity. He never gives up. He doesn't secrete himself on an island. But you'll... it certainly surprised me to hear Luke say it's time for the Jedi to end. I said, what?
Yeah.
Luke was the most optimistic, hopeful character. And
Yes.
I had a real, sort of a back and forth with Ryan. I said, Ryan, a Jedi doesn't give up.
I remember you saying that, yeah.
A Jedi, if he does something wrong, he makes it right. Even if he's traumatized and goes away, he regroup within, 6 months, but 20, 30 years? Come on, that's a little bit overindulgent.
But I don't think they prepared me correctly. In other words, I went to training and, I lost all this weight and did all these things. And I thought, I must be doing something physical if they're sending me to the gym twice a week. And torturing me physically, but saying, oh, by the way, all that workout where you lost all the weight, you're going to have to turn and remove your hood. I thought, oh, I got to lie down for a minute.
When I read 8, I told Ryan, I fundamentally disagree with virtually everything you've decided about my character. Well, you're assuming that I train Ray.
Exactly.
Sneaky.
Do I?
Sneaky.
I know, I have to be really careful. People say, was it difficult to pick up and wield a lightsaber again? And I go, do I pick up?
Is it difficult acting in this movie? Am
Well,
I in this movie?
I can promise you my part is twice as big as it was in Force Awakens.
Are you bummed that Luke didn't get sort of a reunion with Han Solo?
Absolutely. In fact, when I was reading it, I thought, if Leia's trying to mentally contact me and she's not successful, she'll rush to his aid. She'll get close to him and then get into some dire situation, and that's when I show up for a big yay, save her life. Then we rush to Han and are in the same position that Rey and Finn and Chewie are. Too late to save him, but witnesses. And I say, because it would carry so much emotional resonance into the next film. For us, his wife, his best friend to witness, instead of 2 characters that have known him, 20 minutes?
Fade in, fade in, fade in, fade in, fade in.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Have you been keeping Ray's secret from the beginning? Did you know about the parentage? Tell me about that journey of when you found out.
No. At the beginning, there was toying with like an Obi-Wan connection, and then it really went, there were like different versions, and then it really went to that she was no one. And then it came to episode 9, and JJ pitched me the film and was like, oh yeah, Palpatine's granddaddy. And I was like, awesome. And then 2 weeks later, he was like, oh, we're not sure. So it kept changing. So then even I was filming and I wasn't sure what the answer was going to be.
But this was incredible.
Fuck you!
What's up, all my Ewoks, Tribbles, Droids, and Wookiees? It's Anna, also known as that Star Wars girl. Let's get the banner up. There we go. What's up, everyone? It's been a crazy, what is it, 48 hours now? 32 hours? I don't know. The past 2 days have been crazy. So obviously, by the title, you know I'm going to be EFAPing a video. No, Mauler and Rags are not going to be on here. I don't think they're even aware of any of this going on. I just, free promotion for them. Go watch EFAP. It was my favorite podcast. How long has it been now? What, 3 years? 3 years of EFAP. I feel bad because I'm like, I've missed like 10 episodes and I'm like, oh my God, that's like 80 hours I need to catch up on. So I'm like, shit. Oh, well, it'll happen. It'll happen. There's time. There is time. And then more EFAPs will come out and I'll miss those because I'm catching up on old ones. And it's just, YouTube doesn't send me notifications. And if it does, I'm usually busy. But, especially recently. But anyways, to give everyone a little bit of a backstory on what I am doing today. So this is actually a story that started 6 months ago. So for those of you that do not know, 6 months ago, I'm going to put this up here. So 6 months ago, this came out. So this is a tweet from a lady named Meg, and it says, what female fans often struggle with most is feeling safe and comfortable enough to express their love for Star Wars in spaces that already exist for fans. Women shouldn't have to ask for permission to exist in this fandom. Now, me being a woman, I'm like, yeah, I know. No one has, that's just one of the most bizarre concepts that I ever heard. And so I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And so did everyone else on the internet. Everyone was like, who are you? What are you talking about? And so me, what I like to do is I like to, okay, who is this person and why are they saying these things? I kind of like to understand them. So I did a Google search because she's got her entire name up on Twitter. So I Googled her. And what did I find? I found that not only she's complaining that they don't have a safe space and that women have to ask for permission until now with the Project Stardust thing. And so I went and I looked up and it's like, oh, not only does she have a safe space, she has a platform to talk on, she's been doing it for 9 years because she had, a 9-year-old YouTube channel. And oh my goodness, hello, the quartering. Thank you so much for the super chat. Holy shit. Well, I have to admit, this is not what I had in mind when I read FAP in the title. Yeah, a little bit different. I don't think you're going to want to look at the stuff that I'm going to show you. But thank you for the super chat, dude. I hope the plane ride was successful. I think I saw you posting that you were on your way to the Tim Pool. What is it? The Tim Pool compound to go on his show. So I'm anticipating that to be a great show. But thank you so much for the super chat. I sincerely appreciate it. So everyone, guys, it's not, we're not gonna have Mauler on maybe I should change the title because everyone's assuming that it's that. So guys, I'm going to show you a video. The first time, so there's a clip. So apparently this video I did 6 months ago because I showed that she was lying, right? Everything that she said in this is a lie, right? Apparently this was to promote her Project Stardust project. Oh, let me go on this side. It was to promote her Project Stardust thing. But guess what? The women have never had a platform. Women don't have a safe space. And women have had to ask for permission to be Star Wars fans. All not true. And I found out why. So I'm going to show you this. This clip is about 3 minutes long, so just be aware. But this is a video it's a clip from my video from 6 months ago that she flagged. So I'm going to play it for you. That way you guys have all of the context. And then I'm going to explain what happened the past 2 days. And then we're going to EFAP this stream because the girl that did all this, flagged me, said all these things, her and her friends decided to do a stream to talk about me, but never name me. And I don't know if they don't like to refer to me as a woman because they like to talk about misogyny, but I'm just going to play you this.
So this is from a person named Meg Dow. And it says, what female fans often struggle with most is feeling safe and comfortable enough to express their love for Star Wars in spaces that already exist for fans. Women shouldn't have to ask for permission to exist in this fandom. Well, no shit, Sherlock. So this is Meg. Again, this is the girl that created everything. So she has a YouTube channel that she's been working on for a long time. As you can see, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years ago. So she's been doing YouTube for a long time. 4 years ago, geez. So, but let's take a look at the numbers. Okay, that one is a little bit good as compared to the rest of them. Let's see. So 7 stuff for getting your article published. That's why it was doing good. So she's been talking and giving her opinions on things for a very, very long time. Look, 9 years ago. 9 years. She's been doing this for almost a decade, where she's giving her opinion, voicing how she feels about things on her own platform for a very long time. 9 years was the oldest video. So I have a feeling that Meg doesn't feel, she's not afraid to give her opinion on things. Obviously not. She's been doing it for 9 years. So that's interesting that on her Twitter, she's saying, oh, this is why women don't speak up. This is why women are afraid to talk. Or, we are too afraid to talk and if we're hurting or about something going on in our lives. But, you've had your platform for almost a decade now. You've been talking about how you feel for almost a decade. But now, again, look at the numbers here, and then look back at the numbers on this tweet as compared to the tweet from the day before. So, I know what you're doing, and anyone that has a presence online, or even people that are online and just watching, we know what you're doing. You weren't getting attention the way that you were, you're just doing you, giving your opinion and voicing, A, B, and C about how you feel about things. So you purposely went out of your way to create an issue and use certain, terminology and, phrase things a certain way to piss people off, because that's exactly what you did. And now you're finally getting the attention that you've been wanting. I'm assuming you've been wanting it for 10 years, since that's how long you've been at it. And it worked. It worked. You pissed a lot of people off. You got attention. You spent the next, day, the entire day complaining, playing the victim, over a situation that you created. Nobody had this problem until you made it up and created an issue to cause, to cause all of this uproar, so that way you could get attention and you could get clout. That's all this is, guys.
So, watching that, reliving that. So, I did that video, right? That was 6 months ago. And so then everyone... okay, I wasn't the only one that made videos on this. I think the Quartering probably did a video. I know Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. I know Ryan Canal did a video on this. Everyone in the community saw, because I posted that also. I'm like, everyone saw, I showed that she had a YouTube channel. And what did she do? So she went and she privated all of her videos. And there, let me see. I know I have these tweets somewhere. Okay, let me pull this up real fast. Okay, so here is a person that actually, I should have had the screenshots up for. So this is a person that caught her, and this is, a screenshot from, again, 6 months ago. And this person showed, hey, you had this fake narrative because you want to say, oh, there's no platform. And then she goes and cries the victim. And it's like, well, you said that you needed a safe space for your platform, but you had a platform for at least 9 years. You were making videos for 9 years. Nobody bothered you. Nobody bullied you. Nothing. You had this platform. She's obviously has a support group and a safe space of friends. And nobody was bothering you. So she went out of her way for this Project Stardust thing to word things a certain way, which after watching this other live stream and doing the research that I've done on Meg, she's smarter than you think, and this is all strategic. And even in the stream I'm going to be showing you that we're going to EFAP, she knows exactly what she's doing, and she sits there and lets her friends do all the work for her. She doesn't want to get her hands dirty. She doesn't want to do the dirty work. Heck, she's in complete denial about this. She's in complete denial of calling to deplatform me and other people like me, even though her other tweets are like, yay, defend all women, 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 women. We need a safe space for women. But the second me, a woman that says, hey, I have a platform that I built. Yes, I have made friends along the way. Yes, my friends have taught me certain things, because it's the whole thing. If you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. If you teach a man to fish, he'll eat for the rest of his life. That's exactly what happened. If somebody's, handing you, I don't know, YouTube videos, I guess, you're only going to get it for that one time. But I've made friends, and if I need advice, I ask for it, or people that have given me great advice. And that's why I learned how to fish, guys. I learned how to do a YouTube channel. I learned how to properly name videos and thumbnails and tag videos, so that way it works, against the algorithm that's, you're kind of going upstream against most of this stuff. So I learned how to do that. So everything that she claimed in that Project Stardust thing, I've done that. Like all of this, I built a platform. I have my own safe space. I never had to ask for permission for anything, but hey, they enjoy being liars. And so then I called her out for being a liar. And I said, you're a liar and you're clout chasing, because that's all this is. Because this podcast that we're going to be EFAPing, that I'm going to pull up for you guys right now. So on this podcast, they talk about A, B, C, D, all of that stuff, right? And they even title it, She Wants to Fight, meaning me. So this is the podcast that we are going to be EFAPing. Now, I can't figure out how to get the chat up. My social blade is up. These people don't even tag their streams, which I think let me actually move this over here to the screen, so that way you can see that I'm looking at it. There we go. Well, so they have, the title is She Wants to Fight, right? And so this is obviously, she even posted it on her Twitter that it's about me. They're going to be talking about me and the situation that went down with me and her trying to deplatform me. And so I don't even think she talks for an entire minute of this 1 hour and 24 minute and 6 second stream. She lets her friends do all the talking. So you're going to hear a majority from Rachel and Hannah. And guess what? This is the thing that's going to blow their minds. They actually agree with me on a lot of things. Everything that they say is exactly what the Fandom Menace says. So they're technically Fandom Menace, whether they like it or not. Everything that they say, it's, things that I have said before, things that other Fandom Menace people have said before on a majority of things, not everything, obviously. But so they're here to basically, say not the nicest things about me, and they don't hold Meg accountable for anything. It's them talking about what they think is wrong in the fandom, referring to me. They refuse to acknowledge that I'm a woman. They talk about it being misogyny. And I actually have the definition of misogyny pulled up. So let's look at the actual dictionary from Google definition of misogyny. So misogyny is a noun, dislike of, contempt for, or ingrained prejudice against women. So they start talking about misogyny. They never name me, even though this stream was to talk about me and the things that they think I'm about, even though they clearly didn't watch my video and they've clearly never watched any of my videos, or they would see that they actually agree with me on a lot of things. They even name it and they put it in their thumbnail, She Wants to Fight, a discussion on misogyny in the fandom. But they have a woman on that called for to deplatform me and was bragging to YouTube about here it is, bragging to YouTube about getting me, reporting my video and wanting to get it removed. I think I have another one. Is this it? No, that was the initial one. But so I think I have it somewhere on this thing. If not, I'll pull it up later. So yeah, and it's funny because a majority of the things that all of her friends say, because again, this is between me and her. I don't know who any of these other people are. She doesn't like me because I called her a liar, and I said, well, if you don't like the fact that I'm calling you a liar, then don't lie. You know, it's that simple. You don't want to be called a liar. You don't want to be called a clout chaser. Then stop lying and stop clout chasing. It's that simple. If you don't like being called that, it's that simple. But again, they refuse to acknowledge me as a woman because I break that narrative. And then all of her friends start saying their opinions on things. And then it's funny because I'm like, so you agree with me and you disagree with Meg, but you're protecting Meg for whatever reason. So yeah, we're gonna play this now. My audio, I don't know why it does this, but whenever I'm streaming, if I play the audio on one of my computers, it echoes. So I'm gonna have to mute myself while this plays. So I apologize to everyone in advance. Also, there's over 724 people here. Thank you so much for that. Please smash the like button. I'd sincerely appreciate it. And let's watch this because this is 6 months in the making.
What is going on, everybody? We are here for tonight's live stream. Don't usually do one. Well, wouldn't have done one today because it's our off week. But it's been a crazy week, and we're going to talk about some things today. And we want this to just be a constructive conversation and hope that things can get resolved, things can get talked about. And yeah, I'm just going to turn it over to everybody else because it's been a day. So.
It's been.
It has. There was a targeted harassment campaign against me. And then I guess this is the guy that runs the Twitter, and he was being a snarky asshole to me. So they're going to talk about misogyny in a minute. It's like, you really want to know the misogyny in it? It's when you don't take a woman seriously and you mock her publicly online, and then you have a stream titled, "She Wants to Fight, a discussion on misogyny and fandom," completely discounting anything that I have to say. They didn't listen to a single word I said. I showed evidence. You know, I share all of my receipts, and I'm like, here is A, B, and C. Everything that you're complaining about, here it all is. And they said, well, why are you mad about like Meg? And I'm like, because they're like, what's the false narrative? Or da 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 da. And I'm like, what are you talking about, false narrative? Because they said, you're painting this false narrative that she's trying to deplatform you. I'm like, where's the false narrative? She literally has a tweet saying that she wants to deplatform me and others like me, and that I'm dangerous. I'm dangerous, right, guys? So I'm like, where is the false narrative there? It's all true. We all have screenshots, unlike them. But let's get back to it.
It's been a day. Yeah.
Hi, everybody. This is obviously the Followers of the Force podcast, and we are here today to host what I have dubbed our very special episode in the realm of teen TV dramas. If you don't know, if you're under the age of like 25, a very special episode is where we give you a rundown on an important issue in society. So today we are here to discuss misogyny. And it's
Now, again, I'm just going to repeat for you guys what misogyny is. Also, I'm going to grab the super chat. Thank you again. And guys, I am going to read all the super chats that I was not able to get to yesterday. And if I see them, if I'm able to, when I'm doing one of these pauses and it's up on the screen, I will highlight it. So I apologize for reading them out of order. I'm just trying to get them all because at the end, I'm probably going to have a long super chat roundup. And I do have Jack shows tonight as well. The fighting expert thing for super chat. As a knight, I issue a challenge of trial by combat to these people for you. Oh, well, thank you. That's very noble of you. So again, because they're about to talk about misogyny, I want everyone to remember what misogyny is. So misogyny is a dislike of, contempt for, or integrated prejudice against women. Okay, we all got that? Now I'm going to read you another definition, and this is the definition of sexism. Prejudice stereotyping or discrimination, typically against women, on the basis of sex. Okay, now that I read that for you, I'm going to read you racism. So racism, prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against a person or people on the basis of their membership in a particular racial or ethnic group, typically one that is a minority or marginalized. So now that I've read that to you guys, let's take a look on what they deem is misogyny. And I've seen a few more. Let me grab these ones. Matthew Reeves, thank you, Super Chat. If you're under 25 is a great opening for a plate full of BS. Yeah. And thank you for the Super Chat. Charlie Spur, thank you for Super Chat. First of all, I am not associated with Anna in any way, but in the light of recent events, there's no room for boobs in Star Wars. Oh my goodness. Thank you for the Super Chat. And then, oh fuck, I always butcher your name. Arib, thank you for the Super Chat. It's a pattern. First, pretend to be a defender of women, right? But the moment a woman speaks up for herself, they turn on her, just like what happened to Gina. Exactly, and they talk about Gina, and of course they don't have any facts, but that's later on. So guys, thank you for the Super Chats. Let's get back into this.
Become a real problem in the fandom, and it has been since forever. And it's become a real problem in the fandom.
Oh, dang it, I was trying to rewind
been since forever. So we would like to have an honest conversation about our experiences and those of other women we've talked to. So I was going to start with a little research I did last year. I'm giving statistics from obviously pre-2020, 2021, because that's when.
And again, none of this has anything to do with me or the situation that they claim to be talking about. So this is actually, guys, this is a very good example of clickbait, right? Because they put in the title, she wants to fight a discussion on misogyny and fandom, meaning me. They advertised it all over Twitter that they are going to be doing a stream talking about the situation between me and Meg and how Meg is trying to deplatform me, which I have evidence. It's all over Twitter. It's public. This is Meg trying to deplatform me and my friends, right? Okay, so that's what, and me calling her a liar because she did. She lied. She lied and she's a clout chaser. I have provided evidence for 6 months ago, and then for the past 48 hours, I have been providing screenshots, evidence from back then. They have provided none. And this is one of the things that I always tell people. It's like, you got to take your screenshots. You got to keep your receipts. You have to keep this because if you are on the internet, you're expecting complete strangers to believe you, right? Okay, well, me, a majority of people that are complete strangers, well, actually any stranger, I'm not going to take their word for it. I'm going to need evidence. I'll pull up my phone and I'll Google it for myself if I really am invested and I really want the answer. If not, I'll just move on. But so I have been providing receipts, again, for the past 48 hours. And even back 6 months ago, I provided all of my receipts, right? They haven't provided any because there's 700 people watching me right now. Thank you, by the way. A majority of you, I don't know and I've never spoken to. I see you in the chat. I'm reading your comments. But you guys, I don't expect you guys to trust me and take my word for things because I wouldn't trust some random stranger talking to me on the internet. Even if they do have a big platform or even if they have a small platform, if a person's sitting there and they have evidence and they're saying, hey, maybe I don't have it on screen, but here's the link. You guys can go click it and go see for yourself. See, that's somebody I'm like, oh, okay, they did their research. They have everything there. And so with this video, this is the reason why I said it's clickbait, because they advertised it like, again, the title is She Wants to Fight, a discussion on misogyny and fandom. Okay, they advertise it all over Twitter that they're going to be talking about the situation, but they don't. They do talk about fandom, but the whole she wants to fight thing, it's like, okay, well, you don't really address, they don't acknowledge me at all. They kind of tiptoe around me. And I think that they were probably doing that because they're afraid and they don't, I mean, maybe they are deep down good people, and they're like, oh no, we don't want to say her name or anything like that. But I don't, for my protection, I don't think so. I think it's more for their own personal protection, because again, Meg went around and she, flagged my video, right? And she flagged it even though she put her first and last name out there. So I was able to go and find her YouTube channel. And then she called for the deplatforming of me and other people like me, and called me a hateful, dangerous person. So, and this is a lot of, when people, they call you something that they actually are, I think that this is the situation. So they're worried that I'm going to go flag them, which I'm not. They're more than welcome to say whatever the hell they want about me. I mean, there are terrible videos out about me from people, again, that know nothing about me, that make videos about me. I don't watch them because I don't care. The only reason I watched this was because I wanted to see what the explanation was. Like, what on earth? You've been 6 months ago, apparently, you flagged my video. You want me to platform. Do you want other people like me to platform? Now I'm invested. What on earth do you have to say about me? And the way that they talk about me, it's like they don't think I'm a woman. This girl, Emily, she kind of does. She's the only one that really does. And that's like almost at the end of the stream. And she's like, oh, if you're a woman and you had an experience, and I think Rachel does a little bit too, where they're like, oh yeah, if you are a woman and you didn't have this experience, that's fine. But you have to acknowledge other people have. And I'm like, that's a straw man argument. I never said any of that, but whatever. But so the way that they present it shouldn't have been titled this. But I think it got a lot of people over there because everyone was everyone wanted to see it. And then I can't get the chat up for whatever reason. Maybe I have to disable my social blade or something. But I remember I was on stream with Jesse. We were doing our show, and I kind of had it up in the background, and I was reading the chat, and people were asking them questions. Not everything was, bad. It was, but your guys are trying to deplatform Anna. You're literally calling for you're calling to deplatform a woman, but you guys are talking all about protecting women and women's struggle within the fandom. But then there's a woman, meaning me, that actually rose against the struggle and built her own platform and has her own voice, has all of these things that you claim women don't want to, but you guys won't acknowledge that. And then they say that everything I say is invalid, which again, it's like, the only misogyny I see there is it's not coming from me or anyone in the chat. But anyways, let's get back into this. But it is, again, the clickbait thing, it is going to be a while before anything interesting comes up. So I just wanted to let everyone know. But it's them painting a picture that is not an issue, right? And again, they would be shocked to know that they actually agree with me on a lot of things. The way that they talk about things, it's like, oh, so you're fandom menace. Okay, cool. Maybe you shouldn't call for deplatforming. And then they say that they're against that, but they're defending somebody that isn't against that and called for it. But again, I digress. Let's get back into this.
When I got them, but I can't imagine things have changed much in a year because the entertainment industry has basically been shut down. But the start of the idea of not hearing women's voices is because women's voices aren't in our media. Less than a third of the plays produced nowadays are written by women. And that's plays.
Okay. Again, she's pulling up statistics on how many women have or have not been writing plays. And here's another statistic that I would like to present to people, that it's like, okay, you want to really pull up statistics? Okay, how many women are truck drivers? How many women are in construction? How many women are plumbers? I want to see those statistics. But then I also want to see at the same time, how many women want to do those jobs. As far as the playwright things, I don't really care if it's a man or if it's a woman writing my story. I only care about if it's a good story. When I think of vampire books, the first name that comes to my mind is Anne Rice. That's a woman, and it's because her books are a very They're a whole nother level, especially her Sleeping Beauty books. I was like, oh, Anne Rice wrote Sleeping Beauty. And then I read a little bit. I was like, what did I just read? Oh my God. You don't really associate Sleeping Beauty books with intense rape scenes unless it's Anne Rice, right? So, yeah. Yeah, but it's just, as far as this, I don't see what this has to do with any of it, but they do talk about, Patty Jenkins and stuff like that, and I'll play it for you. It's just, it doesn't have anything really to do, but at the same time, I'm like, it's funny that you're talking about women in the entertainment industry, and hey, this YouTube is a type of entertainment, right? People watch this. There's 798 people watching. Also, hello, welcome. Thank you for being here. 798 people are watching this because I'm assuming you guys want some kind of entertainment from it. I don't think you're sitting here to be lectured at. I don't think you're sitting there bored out of your mind, or it's a Clockwork Orange type of situation. I think you're sitting here because you're invested and you want to know what's going on. It's a form of entertainment. So I like, though, how they don't acknowledge a big majority of the entertainment industry. Well, half, right? Remember, because there's men and women. There's a lot of women in the entertainment industry. As far as playwrights, again, I personally, when people do statistics like this, it's like, oh, when the amount of women speaking in films to the amount of men, I hate it when people do that, because it's like, well, if you need okay, look at The King's Speech. That was on this list. It was like an Oscar-winning movie that the men spoke more than women. And it's like, okay, well, there was like There's 3 female characters in that movie. There's the Queen Mother, King George's mother. Then there's Elizabeth, King George's wife. Oh, and then there's Margaret and Queen Elizabeth II when they're little girls. Then there's Lioness's wife. Right? Okay. And then, there's a few other women, but the story isn't about them. The story is about King George and how he had a stutter and how he went to speech therapy with Lioness, and because, it's on radio and everything, and he was thrown in. Oh, and then there's Wallace too. And then he's thrown into this because his brother abdicates the throne. This is all based on historical fucking events, right? Everyone knows this story, and it's a fantastic movie, but that movie wouldn't be the same movie it is if it was all of the women speaking the same amount as, King George and Lioness. His nickname, I guess, is Purdy, so the same as them, because it's not about the relationship between him and his wife, even though that does come up. And there are certain scenes where, yeah, women do speak more, like the scene with Wallace and him, and the Queen Mother, I guess she was the Queen Mother. She died, I think, in 2010, so she's not the Queen Mother in the movie, but in Helena Bonham Carter, there we go. Helena Bonham Carter is talking to Wallace, and she's like, she's royalty, and this, divorcee actress is the one that, welcomes them. And so that's a very big no-no and an insult to the royal family. And so she, kind of does something. So there is that little scene between them, but the rest of the movie is about the struggle and the friendship that develops between these 2 male characters, right? And again, this actually happened in real life. Like, this is a historical event. And it's a fantastic movie. It's actually one of my favorite movies. I remember not knowing anything about it. And then my mom was like, hey, Anna, do you want to go to a movie with me? And I think it was on a Tuesday, like randomly. And we just went to the movie after school. And I saw it and I loved it. I was like, wow, that movie was fucking great. I didn't know anything about it going in. It's like, oh, the King's Speech. And I was like, okay, so we're going to go watch, I thought it was going to be about him, writing the speech, and it was going to be, him giving this. I didn't know about the stutter or any of that. It's a fucking great movie, but the movie would be completely different, and it wouldn't tell the same story if it was the same amount of women speaking as men. And again, if somebody's writing a story, I don't care if the person that's writing the story is a man or a woman. I really don't care, right? I don't agree with people not getting the same opportunities, and that's a very different issue. If, a woman isn't getting an opportunity to write a story and she wants to, I think that's fucking bullshit. Same goes for a man. If a man wants to write this story and he's not allowed to, I think that's fucking bullshit. You know, nobody should be denied an opportunity as long as it's not hurting someone. Like if you're a psycho Satanist and you want to murder people, no, you shouldn't be allowed to murder people. That's fucking wrong. If all you want to do is tell this story, then you should have the opportunity to tell that story. And guess what? We're in a time now where people do have that opportunity, where people can write whatever stories that they want. The website Medium, people can go and write whatever stories that they want to. And as long as you have access to the internet, you have that opportunity to do it. Heck, what, didn't J.K. Rowling write Harry Potter on a fucking napkin? I don't think at this point where we have evolved to as humans, I don't think anyone is unless it's a very specific circumstance. You're in a country like North Korea. I don't think anyone is denied the opportunity to do something that they want to do. So I'm against that. And that if that is an issue, and there are real issues like that, like again, like in North Korea and places like that. But as far as, there's not enough women that are writing plays, it's like, well, okay, how many women have you asked, do you want to write a play? And how many men have you asked, do you want to write a play? And out of those people that said yes, what is the ratio of men to women? Out of all of the women that you asked, what if let's say out of 100, you asked 100 women, let's say only 30 of those women said yes, they want to write a play, and of the 70 other percent said, I don't have time, I have no interest in it, not really my thing, whatever excuse you want to come up with. Okay, so you got to look at that too. Well, do people want to do that? And again, out of the 30% that said yes, okay, then that becomes 100% for that, for this thingy. Okay, so let's say all of these women, you have 30 women that want to write a play. Okay, are they actually good at writing a play? Do they need help? Do they need editors? Do they have the time, money, and resources to do this? What if you get somebody that, say they want to write a play, they have every single opportunity to do it, but then they don't have the motivation. They're not disciplined. They're lazy. They can't get things done. And this is something that me and Jesse talked about yesterday. It's like, you can say whatever you want about Stephenie Meyer, and if you don't like Twilight, that's fine. But I respect the woman because guess what? She was a mom with 2 little boys. She had a dream. That was the meadow scene in Twilight. And even though, she takes care of her 2 young boys, I believe she was a stay-at-home mom at the time. You got to cook, you got to clean and maintain the house. You got to take care of 2 young children. And she found the time, even though she could have made every single excuse that a lot of people do, not just women, but men as well. People make excuses for why they don't get things done every single day. And she had she could have made up any excuse in the book or in the world, but guess what? She didn't. She sat there and she got that done. That's dedication. You got to respect the woman's hustle. She was able to go and write a book. You don't have to like the book. You really don't. It doesn't matter. That doesn't negate the fact that she was still able to write a novel when a majority of people in the world don't. And out of all of the people that want to, who has the discipline to do that, right? Well, guess what? She did. She wrote it in the little bit of time that she found that she was able to. And so you gotta, respect the hustle there. But I know that was a completely random tangent. Let's get back to this.
Is produced by major regional theaters. These statistics are ones I have because that's what I do. I produce scripts that are by underrepresented voices. So less than a third of the plays we hear today are written by women. If you want to go into directors, which is also the stats I have, there has been a grand total of 1 female director who has won an Oscar.
Yes, and I have mentioned her multiple times. How come she's not the one that got hired? This is what I said about Kathleen Kennedy, right? And I think that, because I've watched this live stream already, I think pretty much everyone on this panel would probably agree with me, except for, I don't know if Meg would, because Meg barely talks, so you don't really get a good sense of her. But I'm pretty sure Emily, Rachel, Hannah, heck, even Jason and David would probably agree with me on this fact. Kathleen Kennedy is the president of Lucasfilm, right? She's been the president of Lucasfilm since Disney acquired Lucasfilm and George, stepped away, which he was basically forced out. If you go read Bob Iger's novel, you will learn that. Okay, so Kathleen Kennedy, a woman, and she keeps saying that that's what that whole fade-in thing was about, is that women still need to break all of these boundaries and break through this glass ceiling and all of that in the entertainment industry. So I ask, how come Kathleen Kennedy, a woman who is all about women's rights, hashtag the force is female, right? She's got that t-shirt. How come she hasn't hired more women to direct Star Wars? Yes, there's only been one woman that's won an Oscar, and that was for The Hurt Locker. How come that woman didn't direct Rogue One? How come she didn't hire women to direct The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker, Solo? How come out of all of the directors that Solo went through, how come there wasn't a single woman that was hired? Because Kathleen Kennedy is the one that appointed all these people to it. So personally, knowing that Rogue One is this co-op kind of war movie, the one woman that directed a movie, which I'm blanking on her name right now, how come she didn't get hired to direct it? That would have been a huge step up. I mean, maybe she didn't want to. Maybe she was asked and she didn't want to. We don't have that information. We don't know. But that's my question, is if you're for all of these women's rights, how come she didn't get hired to direct a movie? How come until Jon Favreau came in, there wasn't any women directing a Star Wars or directing Star Wars? And yeah, you can say, oh, well, she got, what's her face to do The Acolyte? Oh, you mean Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant? Catherine Bigelow. Thank you. Yes. Catherine Bigelow. She's the woman that won the Oscar for The Hurt Locker. And I remember because I watched those Oscars when that happened. The Hurt Locker wasn't really good. Well, what do you expect? It's Jeremy Renner. And it's not my type of movie. So I didn't watch The Hurt Locker. I have no interest in that movie, especially since Jeremy Renner is in it. For those of you that follow my channel, you know why I have a problem with him personally in real life. But so anyways, with that, with this being said that she's pointing out, it's like, yeah, I can agree with you on points. How come Kathleen Kennedy with her, whole fade in fiasco? Let me pull up that clip so you guys know what I'm talking about.
Fade in.
Okay, so in that video, she's like, women, right? Okay, she's a woman, and she could have hired, so let's see, Rogue One could have been directed by a woman, Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, and Solo. She's had ample opportunity to hire more women directors because that's their plight right now, that there needs to be more women directors, right? Okay, she's had 5 movies. Solo had how many different directors? How fucking many directors were on Solo? I off the top of my head, if you asked me back when it was coming out, I would have known right off the top. Bryce Dallas Howard is a director. But again, that was brought in by Jon Favreau. That wasn't Kathleen Kennedy. It took a man coming into Star Wars to hire a woman to actually go and direct things. And people say, oh, well, Kathleen Kennedy announced what's her face, Leslie Headland first. And it's like, well, The Mandalorian was in production for how long? And those episodes could have already been directed by then, and he just didn't announce it yet. So if I actually go and look back, which I don't have that information on hand right now, but it's like, I wonder who did this first. And I'm pretty sure it was Jon Favreau. It took Jon Favreau to bring a woman in to direct. So what Rachel is complaining about right now, again, I just go look at it. Why, go question Kathleen Kennedy on that. Hold Kathleen Kennedy accountable. You're a woman that preaches about the force is female, women's rights, but how come you didn't hire a single woman to direct a Star Wars movie until Patty Jenkins, until after Jon Favreau already had? Why didn't you bring a woman in to direct The Force Awakens, to write The Force Awakens? All of these things that they have problems with, it's like, okay, well then hold the people that are in charge accountable. It's not the fans' fault people didn't get hired. We're not in charge of hiring people, because trust me, if I was in charge of hiring people on Star Wars, we would be in a much different situation right now. But I'm not in charge. Kathleen Kennedy is. Let's get back to this.
1. So that's the start of the problem, is that women's voices aren't being heard in the mainstream. So it's hard to hear women's voices in, I guess, the fandom space as well, because they're not represented as well.
Women aren't represented in the fandom. Well, I'm a woman, and my channel, it's not as big as my friends. Like, my channel is not as big as Gary's. It's not as big as the Quarterings. It's not as big as Jeremy's. But as far as women being heard in the fandom, I have, as of right now, 186,000 subscribers, right? And that's me, a woman in the fandom. And so remember what she just said. They want women's voices in the fandom. Okay, well, I'm a woman and I'm in the fandom. As much as they don't really want to acknowledge that I'm a woman. And then what happens when, again, this is why I say, I think Rachel agrees with me on a lot of things. And I think a lot of these people, I think everyone in the panel agrees with me on a majority of the things that they talk about. And it's very clear that they don't hold Meg accountable for her actions, because what she just said, more women in the fandom, more women represented in the fandom. Okay, I'm a woman and I'm in the fandom. I have a very large following compared to most, which I'm very humbled by, and I appreciate every single one of the people that are a part of my channel. And they know that. That's why they're here. That's why, they watch my streams, watch my videos. And so, but at the same time, they're in support of this. They have a woman on the panel that said this: deflatform these people. They're dangerous and shouldn't have the amount of reach they've been allowed. So that's very hypocritical, right? That you say you want more women in the fandom, but there's a woman, meaning me, and all I did was follow the breadcrumbs and put the puzzle pieces together, and I presented that. And because of that, I'm dangerous and I need to be deplatformed. So it's like you want more women in the fandom, but you try to silence one that has, a large reach and a large voice, which is what you claim you want. Interesting, isn't it? Let's get back to it.
So that's a start.
Rachel, do you want to talk about kind of your experience with the fandom space, and then we can kind of just go around the horn?
Yeah, I can do that. I came to the Star Wars fandom late, so unlike, I guess, a lot of people, I never had a lot of people I've talked to. One of my friends on Facebook has said that since 1980, people on the playground told her, "Why are you into Star Wars? That's a boys' show." I never had that, so it's been.
I think everyone has heard that, and even the Star Wars toys are always in the boys section. I never had a problem with it. And then here's the thing: they talk about like especially Rachel. She talks about her experience being a tomboy, right? Okay, I was too. When I was really little, I had to be a girly girl, right? Because I always wore princess dresses, because guess what? My mom gave me a fucking Spock haircut. She cut my bangs all the way back to here, and I had a pixie cut. I looked ridiculous. I couldn't stand it when everyone's like, "Oh, what a cute little boy." And I'm like, "I'm a fucking girl. I'm a little girl and I like princesses and I want to be just like Cinderella because I love Cinderella and the little mice and all that." I love Mary Blair. I found out later the reason why I like certain Disney movies because of the art style for Mary Blair. But anyways, I digress. Yeah, okay, yeah. They're going to say, well, certain things are for boys. And guess what? This is something that nobody ever talks about. It's like, they never point out when a boy likes something. Like, what about a little boy that likes My Little Pony? Well, guess what? Girls do the exact same thing. Well, that's for girls. Nobody ever talks about that. It's always, the women in Star, or, oh yeah, women that like Star Wars. Oh, well, you can't like that because that's for boys. The same thing happened to boys that like things that were more girls, like girly stuff. I mean, heck, one of my friends growing up, he liked watching She-Ra more than he liked watching He-Man. And I liked watching He-Man more than I liked watching She-Ra. And I think it's more so because he saw She-Ra first. So he thought that was more of the original one, even though the first episode is with He-Man. And so when he thought, and this is my friend that I haven't talked to this person in 20 years, but I remember being a little kid in elementary school. And again, he liked She-Ra and I liked He-Man. And that was fine, even though She-Ra was like the girl version of He-Man that they made because He-Man was so successful. So they decided to make the She-Ra version. And we had no problem playing together, even though he liked the girl, the more feminine, the girl one, even though there's also, male characters in there. It's drawn just, the same style that He-Man is. There's still villains in that. He was just drawn more to that, again, because that's what he had first and that's what he liked. And I was drawn to He-Man because that's what I liked. And yes, there's girls in He-Man. And it's not the way that they marketed with the toys and all of that, it's like, okay, well, this is the girl aisle, this is the boy aisle. And he liked playing with the He-Man toys as well. You know, he had all the He-Man toys. All of us as kids had the He-Man and the Skeletor and the Castle Grayskull and all of that. And I mean, he played with Battle Cat too. Like he had She-Ra on Battle Cat instead of her horse. But so it's one of those things that I really hate because nobody ever acknowledges it, that it happened to boys the same amount that it happened to girls, you know? And I mean, I think that that's more of, and yes, there are always bullies. There's always going to be bullies, but a majority of the time, the people that say that kind of stuff, like, oh, you like that? Well, that's for boys or that's for girls. A majority of the time, that's somebody that doesn't even know anything about the thing that they're talking about. They're an asshole and they're trying to get under your skin and make you feel bad. That's what a bully is. And I guarantee you, there's 800 people watching the stream. I guarantee you, every single one of us has had to deal with bullies in some way or another. And a majority of the time, the bullies don't even know anything about what they're talking about. They just say it because they know it's going to get under your skin, you know? And I mean, heck, in my comment section, people were saying terrible things about my family just because they knew it would get under my skin. They don't know the situation with my family. They don't know what happened with my sister. But guess what? They all they know is that she died. And so what do? They go say terrible things about her because they want to hurt me. And none of it's true, but they try to do that because they want to get under your skin. That's a bully. And so the people, and this is why back, when this stuff would happen, I remember there was this one chick named Natalie. And, she gave me shit because I like Star Wars, and she made fun of me because I like Star Wars. And I didn't have a Hollister undershirt when those were popular or something. You have your t-shirt and then under it's a little bit longer white one, and it's got the little bird on it for the Hollister. Well, she made fun of me because I didn't have that, and I was wearing a Star Wars shirt, right? Okay, but then when you're a kid, you don't understand things. So yeah, it's like, oh, well, the popular girl made fun of me. But then at the same time, it's like, well, she doesn't know anything about Star Wars. So how would she know? She probably has no idea she probably has seen Princess Leia because everyone knows, the buns and stuff like that. But I guarantee you, she doesn't know that Princess Leia is the one running the whole show, right? Right? And so I think it's something that you have to learn and realize as you're growing up, that a majority of the time, what a bully does, they don't know, they don't care. They just say things specifically to hurt you. And I think every single person here has had to deal with that in some way, shape, or form. I haven't met a single person that doesn't have a story about being hurt by somebody purposely, because there are bullies out there everywhere. Heck, my platform, everything that people were saying about me yesterday. Well, I shouldn't say everyone. I should say like 3 people were saying about me, trying to get me to platform, saying, I'm dangerous and I'm a hateful person. It's like, well, you don't know anything about me. You didn't watch my videos. You just made assumptions about me without actually understanding or knowing, which is ironic considering in this live stream, they talk about that and, talking and having conversations, yet none of them were willing to do that with me. Ironic. GD Chapel, thank you. As a man, it's my duty to check with your male sponsor who allowed you into the fandom, just to make sure you got in here legitimately. Laughing face. What the fuck is going on? Crazy people. Oh yeah, trust me, I know. All right, here we go. Let's get back into it. I know this is like an hour stream and I'm only 3 minutes in.
Mainly my experience of fandom has been being online in the past few years. And even then, I've been kind of ridiculed for liking new female characters who I relate to. Been told that, oh, clearly they're not as good as the original female characters. I only relate to them because they're women, when it speaks to relating to Rey or to Jin or to somebody newer in the fandom space. And then there's just the rampant feeling that your voice is not valued if you present as female, which is interesting.
Interesting, right? Your voice isn't valid if you're a female. Hello! But guess what? To them, my voice isn't valid, even though I am a female. I am. You know, they don't like to acknowledge me in any way. They don't say my name. They have a whole stream saying she wants to fight, a discussion on misogyny and fandom. They make all of these assumptions about me without doing any research, without watching a single video. But so it's funny that the females, you know, underrepresented. What? Oh my God. Hypocrisy much, right? Most, how the heck do you say this? Most Afa Saad, thank you, Mr. Day. Yeah, I was bullied for loving Apple and sci-fi as a kid. Yeah, see, and I'm assuming by this picture you're a guy. I hope that's safe to assume. So men got bullied just as much as women. And remember when they were on that whole kick about, oh, like men should be allowed to cry, men should be allowed to express their feelings, now it's all a whole thing in high fashion for men to wear dresses and skirts and to, you know, come in touch with your feminine side and all that. And it's this big stick in pop culture now for men to be more feminine and for women to be more masculine in certain aspects. And this is not, I'm not putting words in their mouth. This is just my own, you know, observation from what I've seen in other medias, like again, like in the fashion industry, and what I've seen them trying to teach kids in school and stuff. And so, I mean, I never told a guy, and I never had that thought, like it's not okay for a guy to cry. Because, I mean, I have seen guys cry. I mean, I remember when my friend broke his leg playing flag football when we were in 5th grade. He cried. I mean, his freaking bone was sticking out of his skin. He cried in pain. I've seen people die over death before. I've seen people cry over a movie. I've seen people cry laughing. And again, both men and women. And so it's, my mind just blanked on why I'm on this little tangent. Oh, yeah, you know, women in the fandom. So it's like, again, it's funny. Yeah, women in the fandom. But the second one, you don't like what they're saying, deplatform the women. Deplatform the women. Anyways, let's get back to it.
Because if in a fandom space you go by a neutral name and don't have your picture up, your experience can be vastly different than if you have a female name. And it's pretty stressful at times. And in the past couple weeks, we've seen where women have shared their experiences with misogyny in the fandom, and they've been doxxed for it, where they're scared for their safety.
Hey, guess what? That has happened to me. When my sister died, I got doxxed. I was terrified for my family because some weirdo sent pictures of my mother's home with my mother's vehicles in front of her house with the license plates. And, you know, it is scary. But guess what? I have a female name. Yeah, I had, well, my picture right now is what is that app? The face, it's not the face app, it's something else. The Reface app. And so it's my face on Princess Leia. My name on Twitter is that Star Wars girl. My name on all social media is that Star Wars girl. Everyone kind of knows I'm a girl, unless they're fighting with me on Twitter. Then they think I'm a guy that has a girl picture. Heck, when it was the drawing, you know, when it was this picture, that Kelsey drew, this is me. This is my face just in the Slave Leia outfit. This is for Cecil's campaign of cash grab. People said, oh, how disgusting, you like hentai. And then I pointed out, I'm like, it's a drawing of me. Like my friend, who's a extremely talented comic book artist, drew me as Princess Leia. That's a drawing of me. And then they block me and they lose their minds. So it's funny because, yeah, when you have your picture, when you have the whole girl thing, okay, everyone that follows me knows I'm a girl. No issues, absolutely none. But when people that don't like me and don't like the things I'm having to say, what do? They misgender me as a man. You know, the way that they talk in this stream, like, okay, yeah, she wants to fight a discussion on misogyny and fandom, it doesn't seem like they're talking about me, a woman. It seems like they're talking about misogynistic dudes in the fandom. Which, if that's what they are doing, and this isn't a discussion about the situation between me and Meg and the whole Project Stardust thing, then, again, that's when you know, the titles and the thumbnail and the way that they advertise this on Twitter is extremely misleading. Yeah, Jessie gets misgendered at an airport all the time. Yeah, she does. Yeah, she does. All right, let's hear more of this though.
And that's, I guess, an epidemic in our society as well, is violence against women. So it's going out of fandom spaces into real life to make people afraid for their safety. I mean, how many of us locked down our...
Yeah, I don't agree with that at all. And this is where I say, you know, that I've said this in the beginning of the stream. They actually agree with me. And I agree with them on a majority of the things that they actually say. This situation, yeah, there are weirdos out there that go and dox people. I just explained how it happened to me and my family. And I don't agree with that at all. I think that's wrong. I think leave people's families and personal lives out of it. With the whole cancel culture thing, it doesn't. If you disagree with someone online, okay, well, you shouldn't go and dox them and try to ruin their lives and try to get them, you know, so that way they can never work again. I think that that's wrong. I 100% think that's wrong. What she's saying right now, you know, there shouldn't be violence against people. I agree with you. People shouldn't get doxxed. I agree with you. People shouldn't have to be afraid of fighting with someone on the internet and losing their platform and getting doxxed and having to fear for their life. I agree with that 100%. I've never done that to anyone. I've had that done to me, you know, and during one of the hardest situations I've ever been through, and I hope I will ever have to go through in my entire life. And at that point, it wasn't my home that was getting doxxed. It was my mother's. I was terrified because, you know, I just lost my sister, and they're sending me pictures of my mother's house, of my mother's cars, threatening to go kill my other sister when she's at work because they found out where my other sister worked. And that's terrifying when that actually happens. And it does happen because there are psychos out there. And I think that's 100% wrong. But at the same time, what can I do about it aside from filing a police report and telling my mom to, you know, get a bigger gun, and to, you know, luckily my mom has dogs and stuff like that, and she lives in a pretty safe community. But, you know, there are people out there that don't have that thing. I think somebody sent me a message about this girl on Twitch where there's like this stalker that wants to hurt her, and you know, they asked me for advice on things, and everything that I said, I'm like, yeah, you know, I would get a dog. I would get a big dog. She lives in the UK, so she can't have a firearm. And I know some people don't like that. And I said, you know, get knives at that point, you know, and it doesn't even have to be, you know, just a pocket knife. I mean, just stock your kitchen with fucking knives and just, I don't know, get stuff that you can protect yourself with. Carry pepper spray, get a taser, any of that. And I guess the stalker moved to the city that she lived in and, you know, wanted to hurt her. And like the police don't take it seriously because she's like a Twitch streamer and stuff like that. I'm like, that's terrifying, you know? And again, all the advice that I advise these people, or the person that was asking me for advice on what to do in that situation, I'm like, well, I don't know what's allowed and what's not allowed in the UK, but this is everything I would do. And they said, she's already done that. And I'm like, that's scary. And I said, get cameras, do all of that. And I even said, like, you know, maybe, I don't know, get like a guy roommate, or, you know, somebody that's, you know, very big and strong. Because they said that she's, you know, small like me. So I was like, yeah, I was like, well, I have the comfort of knowing that, you know, well, when my boyfriend's here, if he's not out of town for work or something, he's here. I have my dog, you know, I live in a good neighborhood. I have a camera on my front door. So if there are people that are going to come to my home to hurt me, also, I've had my concealed carry permit for a long time now, and I am an excellent shot. So I have that, but it's like, well, what if, you know, my gun isn't within arm's reach of me? What if I you know, I'm surrounded by X-Acto knives all the time. I'm like, what if I don't have something to protect myself with? Then, and I've been in that situation where I don't have anything to protect myself with, and I'm not physically strong. I can't even fight off another girl, you know? So what are you going to do? What are you going to do in that situation? It's very scary. And I don't think that anyone should be put in that situation. So this is something that me and Rachel and everyone that nods along in this video all agree with, apparently. And like I said, they don't like to acknowledge that, but it's let's keep watching.
Our Twitter profiles before we had this conversation tonight. I know I did, because I was scared that somebody would go real life and try to find me for what I was saying. But
which I don't
and
condone
this
in
is
any way. I've told my fan base, and I told them, you know, but when I found out this stream was happening, don't go and bother them. Don't go harass them in any way. And I'm not your mother, so I can't dictate what you're going to do. If you absolutely feel the need to ask them a question, then be polite about it. Don't be hateful. Don't be rude. Just ask them whatever question and treat people the way that you want to be treated, right? That's all I've ever said. But let's get back to it.
It isn't just a Star Wars fandom conversation. I mean, if we do want to go to the idea of playground, I was told at age 9 that Harry Potter was not for girls. And
when I heard that the first time, I was like, are we the same age? And okay, again, in this situation, I would like to know, is the person that said that to her a Harry Potter fan? Have they read the books? Have they seen the movies? Because I'm pretty sure not. There, aside from Hermione, there's a lot of girls. Heck, I feel like a majority of the fandom that I see for Harry Potter are all girls. It was written by a freaking woman. You know, I've never heard. I feel like Harry Potter is actually pretty gender neutral. I've never heard somebody say that Harry Potter is for boys. I don't believe that somebody hasn't said that because, again, there's a lot of assholes out there. So I would like to know if the person that said that to her, if she remembers, I don't think she's ever going to watch the stream or give me an answer to this. But it's like if somebody were to say that, my question back to them would be like, have you read it? Have you watched it? And that's the way, you know, you fight these kind of people. They say something to you and then you ask them the question back. And 99.9% of the time, they can't answer that. Or they make up some other excuse, which becomes a straw man argument. And so in this situation, if that happened, my initial response would be, have you read it? Have you watched it? And then, you know, just if she's a Harry Potter fan, I don't know if she's a book fan or a movie fan, ask them questions about it. Or, you know, just throw down some Harry Potter quotes or lines or stuff like that and see them go big doe-eyed if they don't know anything about it and either back off or result to making themselves a complete, you know, moron with the way that they would try to respond to that. That's how you fight those type of people. That's how you fight those type of bullies. Anyways, let's get back.
like, well, how far is he going to get without Hermione? But yeah. Just all of the fandom spaces that don't value women's voices are a problem. Not just ours, but ours is specifically, Star Wars is a long-lasting fandom, and it's one where I've not felt valued. So that's really just my thing, is that there's people that think it's okay to shut down a voice just because of the gender of the one speaking.
Ironic, right? Just like that thing that I had in front of you. Wow. So what Rachel said is exactly what Meg did. What Rachel said she's against is exactly what Meg did. Ironic, right? Hypocritical, right? That's why I said earlier. It's like watching the stream. I'm like, so you guys agree with me, not Meg. That's what I'm getting from the words that are coming out of their own mouths. Because again, I didn't know who anyone is. Let's see. I didn't know who this dude was. Apparently, this is the dude that runs the podcast, that runs that Twitter account that was mocking me on Twitter, right? I don't know who Jason is. I didn't know who Emily was. I didn't know who Rachel is. I didn't know who Hannah was. I don't even know their Twitter accounts. The only people whose Twitter accounts I know that I'm aware of is Meg's and David's. And David's is not even... It's the podcast one. So I didn't know that was him until they started talking on this. So Rachel actually agrees with me. And everyone that I guess is nodding along that agrees with Rachel agrees with me. They don't agree with Meg because Meg doesn't value my voice, obviously, by the way that she treated me. Meg doesn't like the fact that I went and I did my research and I put, you know, the puzzle pieces together, and Meg called to deplatform me and other people like me and called me full of hate. So like Rachel just said, as a woman, she doesn't, you know, sometimes she doesn't feel like she's valued for her voice in the fandom. Calling me a hateful person and saying that I need to be deplatformed, that doesn't make me feel welcome in the fandom as a woman, as a female, you know? So Rachel is actually on my side in this. But for whatever reason, they're just blindly defending Meg. It's kind of weird, right? It's very hypocritical. It's very ironic that these things that these people are saying, it's like, so you're actually on my side. Weird, huh? Let's keep watching.
Or heaven forbid that you disagree with their opinion, whether or not it's right or not.
Exactly. Like
that's that's one of the things that kind of
Hey!
gets to me.
Hey,
is-
just again, whether or not you agree with their opinion. Oh my God. Like me. Like me. So again, Hannah's on my side too. Hannah agrees with me too. Interesting, isn't it?
Is that I have a lot of friends who are Raylos. They're in that community. I'm just using that as the most recent example that comes to mind. I am not. I have straight up said I am not a Raylo. I don't kind of participate in that space, but I'm friends with a lot of them, and never once, male, female, non-binary, whatever, have I ever had the thought of, I should attack this person for the way that they're processing their creative outlet in the fandom space. Like, never once has that thought crossed my mind. And
Mine either. I've pointed out certain things that I think are weird, but I've never gone out of my way to attack someone. I know the two instances with Raylo that I've had is the first time I ever got canceled was because I posted Raylo art that was basically, it was, drawing Rey and Kylo Ren as teenagers engaged in sexual act. And I said, I like this artist, but this is disturbing. And of course, the Raylos lost their ever fucking minds. And that was my first experience dealing with Raylos. And then the second time I dealt with Raylos was somebody sent me a link to an animated short with Raylo, and they said, hey, can you do a reaction video to this? And this is someone that's been a fan of my channel and my content for years, has been a huge supporter of my channel. And they said, I would really like it if you watch this and you did a reaction. And I'm like, all right, I've done reaction videos before. I'll do it. And I called up Jessie. I said, hey, do you want to do this with me? She said, yes. We did a reaction. Never, ever did I say, hey, go harass the girl that made it. Go do this, go do that. Never. I said, don't bother this girl. This is just me and Jessie reacting to this video. And then what happened? That girl and all the weird Raylos lost their mind, called to deplatform me, called to get my video taken down, and then said all of this terrible things about me, even though I never attacked her personally. I never attacked anything. I was reacting to something that somebody in my audience, because I actually listened to my audience, said, hey, Anna, can you do a reaction to this? So I did. And so did Jessie. And then what happened with the girl that was making it? She started bragging about how much money she was making. And I have screenshots of all of that, of her going, look at how much money somebody gave me because I'm a victim. And look at this, look at this, look at this. And I showed that. I said, look, she's making money off of this. This is probably more money than that she's ever made off of this. And she's calling for everyone to mass report me, harass me, go harass the comment section, which is exactly what they did without even watching it. And, it's funny. It's funny how that stuff works. But at the same time, it's okay for them to go and attack me and attack other people in the Fandom Menace and other people that have YouTube channels that are critical of Disney, Star Wars, or critical of anything, and go call them every single name under the book, including the Yahtzee term, right? It's okay for them to do that. But if, we do something, it's the embodiment of all evil. It's ironic, isn't it? Ironic.
instead, I'm like, that's interesting. Never thought of that. Or don't disagree. I don't agree with that. Okay, moving on. There was just this whole. There's actually this.
Hey, we agree. I do that all the time.
And it was like, you go into somebody's Instagram page. It's kind of like walking into their home. Like, if the walls aren't if the walls aren't a color you agree with, if the decor isn't something you're amenable to, you can leave. You don't need to take a shit on your way out the door. Like.
Hey, I've said that all the time. I think there was one when somebody was giving me shit for my channel, and I said, here's the thing. When it comes to other people's channels, and this is why I don't do videos on like other YouTubers, it's because, and I know that there's some people that do that. That's kind of the way that their channel is built. And I'm just like, I mean, on a broader spect, this is what I say. If you really want to have a channel and you want to grow your platform, then you need to talk about something that has the widest audience, especially the audience that you are talking about. So I talk about Star Wars and superheroes, pop culture and the stuff that I'm interested in. Well, guess what? Millions of people like that. When you're doing a video just about me to say terrible things about me, there's a very, very, very small audience that look for that and are going to go watch that. So it's like doing a video. This is how I explain it to people, and especially normies. It's like if you do a video about a town mayor, well, guess what? Only the people in that town care about that town's mayor. So like if you're going to do one like where I live in Southern California, if you do a video about a town mayor in Southern California, well, guess what? Somebody from Vermont isn't going to watch your video unless it's accidentally recommended to them. Somebody in India isn't going to watch your video. Somebody in the UK isn't going to watch that video because it has no appeal to them. It has no interest for them. It doesn't have anything. It doesn't do anything for them. If you talk about the governor, okay, well then you have the entire state that's interested in that, and maybe some people from other states that are interested in that and are interested in that country's individual state politics. Okay, if you do a video about the president of a country or the king or queen of a country, well then guess what? You have an entire country and possibly other people throughout parts of the world that are going to watch the video. So you have a bigger audience, right? If you're talking about world news, then you're going to have potentially the entire world as your audience. But so when you have an entire channel that's just dedicated to, let's say me, to we hate that Star Wars girl, right? And your entire channel is built on that. Well, guess what? I'm actually pretty much a nobody, like not aside from, the people in this little corner of the internet, nobody else in the world cares. Nobody else in the world knows who I am. And I'm fine with that. That's not a problem. It's not an issue to me. I don't need to be worldwide famous and all any of that. No interest whatsoever. But for the people that just do that, it's like you're limiting on how big of an audience you could potentially have. And so this is what I say when people do that. It's like, okay, this is my channel. It's like my house. I don't invite everyone to my house, right? The people that come into my house quite often apparently is like Cecil and Jesse and Ethan, Jeremy used to, who else comes on my channel? John, Kelsey, my friends can come onto my channel. My friends can come into my house, right? Okay, well, so I don't sit here and complain because my neighbor painted their house magenta. It's like, I might say that, I'm like, oh yeah, they painted their house magenta, but guess what? I don't have to look at their magenta house. I just go and look at the house over here, or I just go in my backyard and look at my own damn house. I have to worry about myself. And that's why I have this where it says, don't let your ice cream melt while you're counting somebody else's sprinkles. It's like, that's exactly in tone with what I'm saying. So again, this girl agrees with me. Hannah agrees with me. So I'm going to, I really have to pee. Let's see. 777, thank you for the super chat. Meg isn't as smart as she thinks she do. Oh, shit, I really have to pee. I'm like, should I just let this video play while I pee and get through a portion of it? I don't know. What do you guys think? And it just repaints the house. Should I just play it? Because I need to run inside and go pee. Should I just do that? Do it? Okay, I'll just play it. That way we can get through it because we're only 6 minutes in.
And that's just kind of how I feel about the Twitter space. And I tweeted about this earlier in the week when all the whole doxing was going down and everything. But Twitter, the internet, is so fucking huge for people to go actively out of their way to harass female creators, to harass people whose opinions they disagree with, male or female, doesn't matter, is something that I don't understand. I'm very new to the fandom space. May the 4th is actually the anniversary of me being in the middle of all this, so wahoo. But growing up, I was kind of like Rachel. I'm a huge nerd. I have been my entire life. I have been told, and thankfully my family has been incredibly supportive of everything I've ever done. But I've been told by outside sources, like, oh, you shouldn't like that because you're a girl. Oh, you shouldn't be doing that because you're a girl. Like, where's this written down? Like, why can I not enjoy the things I enjoy? Like, why can't I be in this space and enjoy it the way that I want to.
Hey! Oh my gosh! Just like me. Why can't I be in this space and enjoy it the way that I want to enjoy it? Oh my God! It's like they agree with me. Isn't that funny? Isn't that ironic? Oh my goodness. It's almost as if the people that have spoken on this panel, meaning Rachel and Hannah, agree with me and are on my side in this argument. Isn't that funny? Did you wash your hands? Yes. Yes, I did. And invite Cecil on. I don't think Cecil is in the chat or anything. Maybe I will. That was a quick pee. I can pee incredibly fast. Not that anyone really needed to know that. Oh, Cecil is here. Cecil, do you want a link? Because I will send you one. That way we can have some diversity. Let's see. Pee in the backyard like a dog. No, like my bathroom is actually right inside the house. I can pee insanely quickly. I have learned. I've mastered the art of my bladder. Cecil is in the chat. I know. I'll just send him one just in case. Let's see. Then they'll scream, there's going to be a man on the stream. Let's see. There we go. Oh my goodness. Wow. I just saw a picture of Cecil's new nose. How funny. Here, I'll send them link. We're having Jack Show on my channel tonight. The reason why I didn't really have very many guests that I had invited is because whatchamacallit, I didn't want the stream to go on too long, but it seems like it's going to be going on forever. Probably shouldn't have let it be named EFAP. Let's see. Here we go. Let's get back into this. But again, she agrees with me.
Something that I thought was also really interesting. Sorry, I'm going on a little bit of a tangent right now. But a word that I saw kind of floating around the internet in the past week, and especially kind of today as we were getting ready to do this, was the word permission. That word is incredibly powerful if you look at it. Like we're talking about consent.
Okay, pay attention to this. They're talking about permission, right? Remember who was the original person that brought up permission? It wasn't me. It wasn't anyone in the Fandom Menace. Guess who it is? It was Meg, another woman on the panel. So I'm going to leave this up. You can still see Hannah while she talks over here, right? All right, now listen to what she has to say about permission and consent.
Especially like within a sexual realm, that's permission. We're talking about like little children asking their parents permission to go hang out with a friend. Like permission is something very powerful. It is you giving your power to somebody else for them to make a decision for you. I've seen that word floating around a lot, and especially in the context of, oh, women are just wanting to ask for permission to be in this fandom space.
Guess who was the one that put that out there? It was Meg. It wasn't me. It wasn't anyone in the Fandom Menace. It wasn't any of these misogynists that they claim are out there. It was the girl sitting next to Hannah on the panel. If I had a mic, I would drop it right now.
No, I have never once asked for permission to be in this space. I walked into this space. I'm going to stay.
So she agrees with me. And everyone else that was upset when they saw this tweet, right? Oh my gosh. Wow. Yes. See, this is why I like being right. I love being right. And you know what happens? You know why I'm right? Is because when you have facts and the truth on your side, you are always going to be right. So it's funny. It's funny. How do they not see this? That Hannah and Rachel, the two women that have spoken right now, throughout this entire time, everything that they have said, they agree with me on. And it's things that I have said before. Funny, right?
In this space, and never once am I going to let somebody dictate to me how or where I enjoy my fandom. You do not. Permission is not something I'm giving you. I am here. I'm going to stay. And there are plenty of other women and creators in this space that will not ask for your permission.
Mic drop, Hannah. Well said. Well said. It's something that I have said as well. It's something that a lot of other women have said as well. Hannah, you and I agree on this 100%. And what blows my mind, though, maybe it's because she's your friend. I don't know what their actual relationship is and how long they've known each other. But in this situation, Hannah agrees with me 100%. Everyone that's sitting there nodding along agrees with me. The person that they don't agree with is Meg, the person that initially put this out there. Women shouldn't have to ask for permission to exist in this fandom. She's the one that created that situation. You know, she's the one that put that tweet out there. Nobody said that before. Nobody ever said that women need to ask for permission. And if they did, show that, post a screenshot, post a video, hold that person that said that accountable.
To be here.
One of the things that I've seen, going off what you said, Hannah, sorry, was that the way you engage with your media, because I've seen a lot of people saying that, oh no, we welcome female fans, we just don't welcome those kind of female fans. Those who
The only people I've seen do that are certain people that like to do a stream and say terrible things about me and then deplatform me. You know, there's no room for those people. Deplatform these people. They're dangerous and shouldn't have the amount of reach they've been allowed to do. So once again, the other woman on this panel, Rachel, agrees with me. They don't agree with Meg, their friend who doesn't say much. I don't even think she talks for an entire minute of this entire 1 hour and 24-minute live stream. But the two big points that Rachel and Hannah just made are things that I agree with, and they agree with me on this, even though they've never spoken to me. They probably won't speak to me, but it's two things that they have said that oppose what Meg has said and what Meg has done by her actions. Ironic, isn't it? We can still thank you for the super chat. Anna, love you, and you're so right about this. And do you need a code red supply? Oh, well, thank you. This is actually my second to last one. I think somebody else sent me a box full of code red because it was all tattered when I picked it up from the post office, and it's still in my house because it's really freaking heavy, and I think it's cans. But don't send that. I saw how much shipping was. Don't do that. I appreciate it. I really do. But I was like, this is the most expensive code red I've ever seen. Don't do that. I will go and hunt it down. I actually track my targets because you can put in what you want and you track it by zip code, so I can find out what targets have it in my area. So I've been doing that. Don't worry about it. I appreciate it, though. That's very, very kind of you. All right, let's get back into this.
who like the sequels, those who like Raylo, those who, I don't know, like their media, might like the Darksaber. Hi, Meg. Those who like the new trilogies, those who like the new content. We like the people, we like female fans that interact with the media exactly in our interpretation of how you should interact with media.
Now, this is where we don't agree with. We like female fans that interact with exactly how you are supposed to interact with the media. So then my question to that, who dictates how you are supposed to react and interact with media? Who dictates that? As far as I'm concerned, the only thing that really, depending on what religion you follow on how you should interact with things, it's like, okay, well, don't kill people. That's the first one. I guess if you really get into like the Christian belief, it's like, okay, well, don't be in, like, don't lust after your neighbor's wife. Don't kill people. Don't, what's the other one? I'm blanking. Of course, when I'm in the middle of a live stream is when my mind decides to have brain farts and stuff. So me, it's like, don't kill people, don't steal from people, or don't steal. That's bad. Don't physically ever try to harm someone. Don't try to cancel someone and ruin their life. It's like stuff like that. It's like, those are the big things that you don't do. Don't call for the, to deplatform people because you disagree with them. There are plenty of people that say terrible things on the internet. I don't think that they should be deplatformed. When a person is murdering a cat in a YouTube video, yes, I think that person needs to be in prison. I don't like it when people hurt animals because I love animals. I think people that are using a platform to murder animals should be in prison for the rest of their fucking lives. So when I see stuff like that, again, that's a completely different context. When somebody has an opinion on a movie, I don't think that they should be deplatformed. And when somebody points out another person that's lying, I don't think they should be deplatformed. Just saying. But this little statement that she just made, let me go back a little bit.
Those who like the new trilogies, those who like the new content, we like the people, we like female fans that interact with the media exactly in our interpretation of how you should interact with media. And that's not welcoming.
Their interpretation of how you should interact with media. So they like an echo chamber. They only like people that do and think the way that they say, right? Okay. That's not weird or, in my personal opinion, fucked up at all. But guess what? They agree with me, not Meg. Everything else that they've said up until that point, I mean, if your way of interacting with media is reading it, good for you. If your way of interacting with a movie is watching it over and over again and that's all you watch, okay, you do you, and I'll interact with Star Wars the way that I like to interact with Star Wars, not the way that somebody is dictating the way I should interact with Star Wars, right? I don't agree with that. But everything else that they said, they agree with me, not with Meg. So even by that twisted logic, Meg isn't doing what they've already declared is the right way to interact with media. Ironic, isn't it? Ironic.
I mean, female fans. That's welcoming fans who think exactly like you, who happen to be female. And there's just so much to do with all.
You're not going to hear her talk for a while. Again, she only talks for maybe a minute of this. And this is one of those things. It's like this, again, no one else, like the only time I had any that I'm aware of, to my knowledge, I've never interacted with Jason. I've never interacted with Rachel, Hannah, or Emily. I have interacted with David, who is very condescending, which, I mean, he was kind of on the defense of his friend, so I don't really judge him for that. And Meg, and I think he judged me because I said I liked chewy oatmeal cookies. And I think I was right that I am older than him. But the only people that I've interacted with are those two. And so this is not, I mean, good for them. I respect that when you are sticking up for your friend, but everything that you're saying, you agree with me on, not your friend. Every single thing, except for that whole, the women, you have to act the way that we dictate the way that you are supposed to interact with media. I don't agree with that at all. I think people can interact with things however the hell they want to interact with them, as long as they're not hurting anyone or themselves, right? So, but this is kind of, it's more of a pep talk for her, for Meg, because again, she doesn't talk very much. It's like less than a minute, I believe, of her actually speaking, even though this is between me and her, and she kind of snickers and laughs about it. Again, this is a girl that was calling to deplatform me and people like me, that called me dangerous because we called her out for this. But all of us deserve, anyone that called her out on that deserves to be deplatformed. Weird, isn't it? Strange, isn't it? All right. Let's get back into this.
All of this. And if you're seeing this and you've been worried about how you interact with your media as a fan, you can talk to us in the comments. We'll listen. Mm-hmm. You know, for how.
No, they didn't, because I saw a majority of comments. And here's the thing, even in my chat right now, you know, there's 736 people watching. Again, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Not everyone that comes in the comment section is nice and are trolls. And I said over and over again, when I found out the stream was going on, nobody bothered them. Nobody harassed them. Just leave them alone. If you want to say something, say it in my chat, or say it in when me and Jesse were streaming over in that chat, right? But at the same time, I'm not anyone's mother. I can't tell a full-grown adult what they can or cannot do. I simply ask, if you do feel compelled to go and interact with these people, be respectful and treat people the way you want to be treated. And okay, if your weird thing is you like being called names, okay, that's really fucked up and kind of wrong, but just don't. Be respectful. Be respectful, because remember, at the end of the day, it's a reflection on me. That's the way that, even though it shouldn't be, that's the way that these people see it. Is anyone that is in any type of defense of me, or they're going to associate with any type of negativity, they're going to think that that's a representation of me. So please be respectful. That's all I ask. And that's all I asked yesterday when I knew this was going on. Now, let's watch.
Oh, we all interact differently, but there's a certain way that you're supposed to interact to be a fan. And
I have never heard that before. There is well, actually, I should take that back. I have heard that before. You're supposed to stay in line and stay in your place. And if you don't, then you're a toxic, misogynistic, basement-dwelling man baby. That is what they say when you have any type of criticism of Star Wars and The Last Jedi. Now, all of a sudden, it's okay to criticize The Last Jedi. Now, all of a sudden, you're not a toxic, misogynistic man baby that is, or basement-dwelling man baby, right? So I have heard that before from people that work at Lucasfilm and the mainstream media. So this is where we differ. This is where we disagree. Like I said, we agree on almost everything. Almost being the key word there.
The way a lot of women interact is not, apparently. And I'm kind of sick of it.
I am too. I'm sick of it too. I'm sick of people not taking me seriously, especially since, and they want to say there's no women in A, B, C, or D. There's no women doing this. Okay, I'm a woman. I'm actually extremely tired of having to reiterate that, because I don't think my gender has anything to do with the way I love Star Wars, right? Has absolutely nothing to do with it. I think I would have loved Star Wars just as much if I was born a boy, right? So I don't like that comes into play with any of this. I think it's dumb. We have to use that with these people. But so I am kind of sick for not being taken seriously, considering everything that people like this always claim that they want. We want strong, independent women. And it's like, I'm a one-woman show. I kind of done, I think personally, a good job. I think my platform, it kind of speaks for itself. And then people say, oh, well, your videos are hateful. And I say, did you watch it? Did you watch any of my videos? And they'll point to, oh, this one with Brie Larson. It's like, okay, did you watch it? They say no. I'm like, okay, then go back and watch it and come and talk to me. And like, well, you said this in the thumbnail. You said this in the title. And it's like, okay, do you not understand what marketing is? Do you not understand what an advertisement is? When you are driving down the road, you see a billboard and it's like, okay, well, that's for this brand, that's for this brand, that's for this brand. When you see a Nike ad, that's pretty universal, Nike, okay. When you go and you see Nike, it's like, just do it. And you see people working out, right? Okay, so Brie Larson is a good example. Okay, so I'm going to go scroll back through the history of time and go look at the last time I did a Brie Larson video. Let me just pull up one about Brie Larson. Okay, well, gosh, it's not even loading. Okay, so I'll just pull up one recently. So, here's the one with Daisy Ridley, because they're going to talk about Reylos in a minute. It says, Daisy Ridley scared of Reylos. Star Wars actress Daisy Ridley scared of Reylos, and the title gets cut off. Okay, I talk about that in the video. That is your advertisement to the audience. And remember, as a content creator, your goal is to grow your audience, right? My goal is to grow my audience. And so if you are doing a clickbaity title, guess what? You're going to get a lot of people that see that. They're going to get angry and they're going to leave. They're not going to come back. My audience, I've been able to retain. When I go and I look at my analytics, a majority of my audience are people that are subscribed and have been subscribed for a long time. And I still am gaining new audiences. But the reason why people still watch my content is because it's not false advertising. What's in my thumbnail and in the title of my videos are in the video. I have to put a flashy title because it's my billboard. It's my advertisement to people. And in every single thumbnail, I make people ask a question, and that's what gets you to click on it. And then everything that is in the thumbnail and in the title of the video is in the video. So guess what? You get that payoff. It's a question. Oh my gosh, Daisy Ridley is afraid of Raylos. Why? You click on the video, I explain to you why. So that's how you successfully market a video to an audience. Now, when somebody says clickbait, okay, yeah, you want people to click on it, but my personal definition of when somebody is doing clickbait is when you trick somebody to click on something and the stuff that is in your video or your content has nothing to do with clicking or with what was in the title that made you click on it. That to me, it's like a bait and switch, right? And so this happens to me all the time. I'm really freaking weird. I like watching pimple popping videos. When I'm advertised, oh my God, this is the biggest pimple you'll ever see. And I click on it getting all excited because I'm like, oh my God, I want to see somebody pop the biggest pimple I've ever seen. And it's nothing and it's a shitty video. I hate that. I hate that. So I get frustrated about that as well. So I am tired of people like this not recognizing the amount of effort and hard work I put into building my platform and maintaining my platform. And then people like this saying, oh, well, there's no female Star Wars fans. And I'm like, I guess all the women I've met in my entire life don't count. And then they say, oh, well, this, and this. It's like, oh, well, why do all, and this is one that always gets me. It's like when people complain, oh, well, you're a woman, so you have it easy. You get all of this without even trying. I'm like, no, I put a lot of effort into this because you can go look at all of the women that have Star Wars channels. And from the group that I am aware of, I have the largest one. And I work really fucking hard at that, right? But there's a lot of women that make excellent content and they don't have huge subscriber bases. They don't have huge channels. And then the people that use that argument, it's like, well, by your logic, I should have the largest channel because I'm a girl and everything's handed to me, right? It's one of the two. Women have nothing or women have everything. Those are always the two arguments, right? And I'm like, okay, well then in that aspect, I should have over 1 million subscribers, you know? I should have more subscribers than The Quartering by that logic. I should have more subscribers than Jeremy, than Geeks and Gamers, than Nerdrotic, than other channels that have much larger platforms than me. By your logic, because I'm a girl and girls are either completely oppressed all the time or don't have anything, I should have one or the other, right? But I don't. So that it's like research, which this woman claims she does. Let me read the super chat. Carl, thank you for the super chat. If I had known you were going to review this, I wouldn't have wasted my time watching that podcast last night. Love your channel and keep it up. Oh, well, thank you. I didn't know if I was going to do this or not because me and Jesse were in the middle of our stream and I decided after. So that's why I'm doing it. But let's get back to it. I know everyone is excited.
You don't have to apologize for taking up space while female.
No, you don't. And I never apologize for being female. Well, remember I said, agree with me. She agrees with me.
I don't think anyone, regardless of who you are, should ever come into the space and feel unsafe.
Ironic. Remember, Meg is finally speaking. We are 11 minutes in. Meg just said she doesn't feel like anyone should come into the space and feel unsafe. This is a tweet from Meg from yesterday. To platform these people, they're dangerous and shouldn't have the amount of reach they're allowed. Remember that's the girl that's talking right now.
No.
I don't think that anyone should ever be afraid to express their opinion because they aren't sure what the result's going to be.
Again, this is the woman that called to deplatform me and other people like me because we're dangerous. She just contradicted herself.
There are people right now who feel like they can't even share their art or talk about their favorite character because they're afraid of being attacked or having their private information leaked or just getting message after message after message that they never asked for.
Yeah.
We're all online. We're all on social media. When you do that, you choose to be a presence. You choose to have a following. That doesn't give anyone the right, especially anyone with a much bigger platform than you, to just not be nice. And
Not be nice. Deplatform these people. They're dangerous and shouldn't have the amount of reach they've been allowed. That's not being very nice. And I have to reiterate this again. They were just complaining about women not being allowed to be fans, women having to overcome all of these obstacles, women being bullied and teased for liking Star Wars, all of which has happened to me. It has. Ask anyone, not just women. Ask men too if they were treated badly for liking Star Wars. I guarantee you 99.9% of people are going to say yes to that question. And it's a yes or no question, right? So not being nice. Okay, so calling to deplatform me, not even acknowledging me as a human being, that's not very nice. Calling me hateful and dangerous is not very nice. And like I said before, because she complains, let me pull up this banner, right? And yes, welcome to the internet, which she actually just points out as well. We are on the internet. People have said some terrible things about me. Absolutely despicable things that would make your skin crawl. And I've shared a majority of it on Twitter. There are things that people have said about my family, specifically to hurt me. Again, welcome to the internet. But you see this right here, her linking to go get my my video taken down for harassment, even though calling to deplatform me is harassment, for mass flagging is harassment. Funny, ironic. It's one of those things where it's like you don't practice what you preach, or you don't understand the things that you are actually saying. Let me read the super chat. Uncompetitive. Thank you for the super chat. Anna, why are you surprised? All transsexuals, both fandom menace and FTM and female to male and male to female, by definition, are misogynists as they seek to erase women. That is hate. That is misogyny. Meg is trans. I don't know if Meg is trans, and I have friends that are trans, and I don't agree with that. You know, I've seen a person before they transitioned, and the way that person was before, and then the way that they were after they transitioned was a complete 180. They went from being very, quiet and insecure to being one of the happiest people I know. I don't agree with that statement at all. I don't think that about people. And as I always say this, as long as you are not hurting someone, or, causing self-harm to yourself. And by what I mean is, like, when you're cutting yourself, you're going to do self-harm, as far as, ending your life. That's something that I don't agree with. I just, when somebody is thinking about self-harming themselves, that makes me very sad and broken as a person. And I think, that I would want that person to get help. Right? As far as hurting other people, I don't condone that. I don't. So when it comes to a person being trans, and I think that if you don't know someone that's been through a transition, I don't really, yes, there's plenty of people that can speak about things that they've never personally experienced. Like, I can say, oh my gosh, the Egyptian pyramids, I think that they're one of the most amazing achievements of mankind. I've never seen them for myself, right? I've never been there. I've never touched it. I've never experienced it firsthand in reality. I only know what I know about them from books and from images that I've seen. I do still feel that way. I think it's absolutely incredible that the human race was able to build those things back with the lack of technology that they had back then, right? But when it comes to trans people, here's the thing. I don't care what you look like. I don't care who you're sleeping with. I don't care what you identify as. If you're an asshole to me, then you're an asshole. All of the other things don't matter, right? Your gender does not matter. I have male friends. I have female friends. I went to college in San Francisco. I know people that are non-binary. And I know people before they transitioned. I've met people that have already transitioned. If you're cool and you're nice to me, I'm going to be nice to you back. Everything else, And again, if you're an asshole, it doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman, you're an asshole. It doesn't matter if you're non-binary or you're transgender. If you're an asshole, you're an asshole. Nothing else matters. It doesn't matter if you're black, if you're white, if you're Asian, or if you're Hispanic. If you're a good person, you're a good person. If you're an asshole, you're an asshole, right? So I don't think identifying an entire group of people is right in any way, shape, or form. And this is a really big issue, because when you immediately group an entire, an entire group of people, an entire race of people, an entire gender, an entire sexuality into one group, and you're labeling them all as this one thing, well, it's like, well, then at that point, you kind of become the bad guy there, because you're not holding the individual accountable and you're blaming an entire group of people for the actions of a few. And I don't think that's right in any way, shape, or form. So anyways, yeah, and as far as Meg, I don't know that about her. I don't. I haven't found any information on that. And even if she was, who cares? It has nothing to do with if a person is a woman or a man, or if you're born a woman or a man and transition to the other. That doesn't matter. That has nothing to do with this. What you have between your legs or on your chest, nothing to do with if you're being an asshole on the internet or not. And if that is, then that becomes a whole different issue. This is somebody that was trying to deploy. This is somebody that lied, that got caught lying and decided to play the victim, that they created a fake narrative. Again, she created a fake narrative. I don't care if she was a born woman, still is a woman, still identifies as a woman, or if she was born as the opposite gender and transition. That has absolutely nothing to do with what happened. What happened was she posted this on the internet. Let me pull it up. She posted this on the internet, right? Pissed off a lot of people like me. I went and I did my research and I discovered, hey, you're lying, because you've had a safe space. You've had a platform. You never had to ask for permission to be a Star Wars fan. You have a YouTube channel that you've had and you've been making videos on for the past 9 years. Well, now that would have been 10 years ago. So again, you had a platform, you had a safe space, you never had to ask for permission. So everything that she said in her own personal experience was a lie, right? I went and I showed that. And then I also showed, oh, well, you said you phrased things a certain way because you wanted attention, because you had been doing this for a decade and you weren't getting attention. Even the tweet before that, she didn't start getting attention until she made that tweet. I called that out. I said, you're lying and you're doing this for attention. You're being a clout chaser, right? Again, nothing to do with somebody's gender. That's not the point of this. And I want to continue. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse at this point, but I just want to get that through people's heads, because the second that you start just grouping people in those type of things, it's, how to say this as eloquently as possible. As soon as you start doing that, you're doing the tactics that a lot of bad people have done. And I feel like a lot of the fandom menace people get upset because, oh, well, you're grouping us all as a hate group, right? That's the thing that I hear the most. That just happened with Jeremy and Geeks and Gamers, right? Is that Zack Snyder came on their charity stream and he associated with that. He said, not associated with Geeks and Gamers, we're not about hate, and you can interpret it however you want. Or more specifically, the thing with Gina Carano. Okay, so she was getting attacked and harassed by people for months. She stood up to them, and now people still claim to this day that she's transphobic and she's anti-Semitic. She is neither of those things. She has said multiple times she is neither of those things, but people still identify her as that. It has nothing to do with her gender. It's people that don't have the right information and they group her into that. They say you're this and you're this without even taking the time to go and do the research or look into things and get to know her as a human being. They don't do that, but they're grouping her into those categories. So when you do that, that's when you start taking the tactics of the people that, as far if you're a member of the fandom menace, or, even even, just a person that's against that kind of thing. The second you start using, that kind of mentality, it's like, well, then you're no better than them at that point. And I'll never do that. I'll never group an entire group of people as one thing. I look at individuals and individual situations, which is exactly what we're doing. Now, let's get back to this.
Putting that very nicely, but there's no reason. If someone is just saying, I like Bo-Katan, I like Rey, some of my favorite videos are of the little girls at Disney World who are dressed up as Rey and they meet Rey. And it's like, that's all they've ever wanted is they're Rey and they see Rey and that's who they want to be.
And I don't have a problem with that, nor have I ever had a problem with that. There's actually a cute video of a little girl meeting Rey. I think that was going around on Twitter. I've never had a problem with that. I've never seen anyone that has a problem with kids liking what they like, you know? But anyways, and I like how this has nothing to do with what this actual issue is. This is the actual issue. That was the initial issue. This is the follow-up issue. Calling to deplatform me, you know, this, you can go report my video without watching my video. She's calling for everyone to go watch the video. She also did this other one. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, you know, here, hateful and dangerous people. Calling to deplatform. Then this, they just want to control women they think should be allowed to exist in their space, which is exactly what she did. So she's tiptoeing around the issue and she's bringing up other issues again that don't exist, at least to my knowledge. If there's an asshole giving a little kid shit for liking a character, that person's a fucking asshole, right? So call out that individual person.
We want to see ourselves in the media that we consume.
Maybe she does. And this is something that I think this is where the paths differ. Is like, I don't need to see a Portuguese woman or, you know, a half Portuguese woman that's mixed with a bunch of other stuff in every single movie. I don't. You know, when I watched Star Wars, I identified with Luke Skywalker because I felt a connection in my soul because he wanted what I wanted and he was going on this adventure and he went on his hero journey and became the Jedi Master that he is at the Return of the Jedi, right? I don't need to see a, you know, hazel-eyed, dark-haired, well, my hair's got highlights in it now, but I don't need to see myself in movies to be able to identify with characters. I think the only time that comes into play, which is what I've noticed a lot, is it's actually the issue of cosplaying, right? Because and a lot of time cosplayers, they cosplay as characters, which there's nothing wrong with this. They cosplay as characters that they think have a cool costume, right? And so the more I've looked into it and looked at people that complain about this kind of stuff, it's people that want to cosplay and they want an easier costume. So they want people to be in movies that look like them so that way they can cosplay as that character, right? And, you know, it clicked. Because I remember I went to LA Comic-Con and I got to meet a couple of these writers and artists that I like from this app called Webtoons. Because yeah, I read Webtoons, or I used to read Webtoons. For whatever reason, my account's all fucked up, but that's beside the point. And in this panel, a lot of the authors of these Webtoons said, hey, yeah, we put characters in certain costumes so that way it's easier for people to cosplay as them. And that's kind of where it started to hit me. It's like, oh, so people, they want to see people more like them in comic books and in movies and TV shows so that way they can cosplay as them, so that way they can dress up as them, so that way they can live out their fantasy. And then I think about myself when I was little. It's like, okay, I look absolutely nothing like Cinderella, right? I don't look anything like her. I look more like Belle. She's got hazel eyes just like me, and she's got brown hair just like me, and it's parted in the middle just like me. Back then I didn't have long hair. Now I do. And it's like, I don't want to be Belle. I hate Belle. I think the Disney animated movie of Beauty and the Beast, Belle is a terrible person. I've explained that. That's a whole other issue. I like Cinderella. I wasn't so much on Sleeping Beauty. Just because she's not really in it. Prince Philip in that movie actually comes in clutch. It's like a lot of girls like Ariel. Okay, well, no one on this planet is a mermaid. No one has that red hair, right? But a lot of my friends liked Ariel because guess what? Little girls like mermaids. Are any of us mermaids? No. No, we're not mermaids, right? But that's what dress up is. That's what pretend is. That's what imagination is, right? From SpongeBob, imagination, right? I like elves and fairies. Am I an elf? Am I a fairy? No, I'm a hobbit, but that's just besides the point. But so it with this, I found just nowadays people want to see themselves in social media because they want to cosplay as it, so that way they can reenact it in real life instead of using their imagination to connect with these characters, right? And I think some of the best storytelling is when you can make a person relate to and identify with a character or with a person that has nothing in common with you. And I think just to help people that don't understand that concept, go watch the movie Remember the Titans. Football movie, right? Denzel Washington. Fantastic movie. Fantastic. And what is that movie about? And what is a huge portion of that movie about? It's talking about racism. It's talking about segregation. And one of my favorite scenes is when all of the boys, they're integrating a black high school with a white high school. So it's going to be a mixed race high school. The one head coach, he was going to win, the award for the best coach. And they, demoted him to the second coach. Denzel Washington comes in to be the head coach. What does he do? They're going off to like the football retreat. He tells everyone to get off the bus, and you got to mix. If you're black, you got to sit next to a white guy. And if you're white, you got to sit next to a black guy. And it's all of these boys, the white ones and the black ones, that have this ingrained that they're different, that they can't be friends, that it's this, because that's the time period that we were in American history. Because again, this is a historical fiction, and it shows how they're able to overcome that, and how by the time they get back, they left. A majority of them are racist. They were racist assholes. And yeah, still after that, there was one racist asshole left after that entire retreat. And it allows them to relate to one another, to all become friends with one another again, except for that one asshole, because there's always going to be one asshole left. So I would recommend people like this to go and watch movies like that. Go and watch, where if you actually want to see a good example of that, and see how at the end they're like, yeah, and even at the end when he goes to visit him when he's in the hospital, and they're like friends and family members only, he's like, can't you see, like, that's my brother, the white guy that's in the hospital dead because now he's paralyzed, and the other guy who's black, he's like, no, that's my brother, And so that it's a very powerful movie, and it shows how people that look nothing alike, that come from completely different backgrounds, which is brought up in the movie, how they become friends, and how they're able to see past their differences and relate to one another and have that kindred spirit and kindred soul. I think that is some of the most powerful storytelling and some of the most successful storytelling. And so I would suggest people like this to go and watch that. Anyways, Remember the Titans was based on a true story. I saw that, but I don't know how accurately it is of the true story. I don't know how much of it is fiction, how much of it is fact. That's why I just go, it's just kind of safe to say sometimes historical fiction, like the Titanic. Obviously that's based on an actual thing, but there's a lot of fiction in it, right? All right, here we go. Back to this.
Representation is so important.
Yes, it really is. And we're like all of us are trying to make representation like that more prevalent so a lot of us are just creating our own things, which is great. That's why
it's great. A lot of people are creating their own things. Deflatform these people. They're dangerous and shouldn't have the amount of reach they've been allowed. Practice what you preach. All right, let's get back.
Fandom exists partially because anyone can express their love for Star Wars, for example, in, any art form that they want to. They have the right to do that. They shouldn't ever have to feel afraid to do that. And to respond to someone saying Rey is my favorite character, for example, by telling them that they shouldn't like that character, or that they're not a real fan because that's their favorite character. I don't understand that.
I don't understand that either, and that's why you ask why. If somebody says Rey is my favorite character, my response would be, why? Why is your favorite character? And I would expect the same response when I say my favorite character is Darth Vader. You know, everyone always, it's like, oh my, and that's actually a normal thing in fandoms. It's like, who's your favorite character? And then the follow-up question always is why. If somebody were to tell me Rey is my favorite character, which I have never heard, by the way, I've never heard. So if somebody said, hey, Rey is my favorite character, and I say, okay, I was like, I don't agree with you, but why? Why, I shouldn't say that. What's the right terminology? I'm blanking on it. It's not amuse. I'm having a brain fart. Fuck, what is that word? It's going to drive me crazy. Indulge me. Why is Rey your favorite character? And if the person said, I like Rey because I love her hair. I love her costume. I love her voice. I'm just a huge Daisy Ridley fan, and I love everything that Daisy Ridley does, right? And I would say, well, you know what? I can kind of understand because I love Henry Cavill. I love looking at Henry Cavill. I love his hair. I love the way he looks. I love his voice. I love everything about that man. I don't care what costume you put him in. I'm going to love it. And I'm like, all right. So, but I know the reason why, it's a different type of reason than a very different reason why I love Darth Vader, why I love Luke Skywalker, right? But so if you ask somebody and you have a conversation, why is this your favorite character? Like if somebody said, oh, the penis alien from The Rise of Skywalker is my favorite character, I would say why? And if their answer was, what I would assume is like, oh, it's because it's fucking funny. I'm like, that's all right. You like things that make you laugh, right? This is my favorite movie. Why? Because it's fucking funny. It's like, all right, this is my favorite movie. Why? Because it's mentally stimulating and I like the mystery. It's like, all right, why? Right? I still have never met somebody that has said Rey is their favorite character. Maybe I just haven't met a person. Maybe I'm not aware. Maybe there's somebody in the chat where Rey is their favorite character, right? But my question, which I think is anyone's follow-up question, like when I talked to Jessie, she said Han Solo is her favorite character. I'm like, oh, how come? Like, why is Han Solo your favorite character? I understand why he would be somebody's favorite character, but why? Indulge me, right? Why is Princess Leia your favorite character? Why is Lando? Why is Lando your favorite? Why is the Ewok your favorite character? Why is the Emperor your favorite character? Why is Padme? My question is why? Because when you usually are talking to someone, and if you care, you'll ask why, right? Or if you sometimes it's just because you're trying to be polite, but usually when you're talking to someone, it's because you're interested in getting to know them. And so you ask them why. You ask them questions to get to know them better, to understand them better. That's a very normal human concept. Like Obi-Wan is my favorite. Like I had Mary on my channel years ago, right? For a show that I did called Force Talks. And I asked Mary, who's your favorite character? And she said Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I said, why? Like, tell me your story. What? Everyone has a different relationship with Star Wars. So tell me, what is it about Obi-Wan Kenobi that's your favorite character? And she explained to me. And I was like, wow, that's a great story. And that's kind of how you bond with somebody over being Star Wars fans. I never said you can't like Daisy Ridley. I never said you can't like Rey. I think that she's a very badly written character. I have yet to see Daisy Ridley really shine as an actress. Not to say that she can't, because there's been actors out there where I've been completely blown away by their performance in a movie, and then at the same time been completely disappointed in their performance in another movie because the difference would be script and directing, right? Let me see. SJ Almighty, thank you for the super sticker. And it's a little puppy dog going, great job. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That is very kind of you. Thank you. All right, so let's continue. But I just wanted to point that out.
I don't understand that mindset or that behavior.
I don't either.
Someone is just saying they like a character. Like they weren't even talking to you.
Yeah.
I
You
don't
don't
get
have
it.
to like the same character. Like I have friends
I agree
who absolutely hate the sequel trilogy, and we're still able to be friends. We can talk. It's
Yes.
your own opinion.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's the whole excuse of, oh, well, you put it out in a public space, on a public forum. People can say whatever they want. Yes, you can, but I am also free to block you. Like,
I agree.
I want to create I want to, it's not that I don't want to get into an argument. It's just like, that's not the fandom experience I want to curate. Like, that's not something I want to engage in. Like, I have, for an example, I have a friend of mine, not on Twitter. She only does Instagram and TikTok. And she has shown me the pictures. Every time she cosplays as Rey on TikTok, just the comments are horrible.
Like, to be fair, that's TikTok. To be fair, though, that's TikTok. I've never been on TikTok, but from what I've seen and heard, it's not a good place to be on. Yeah.
Because she enjoys it. She's 501st approved and troops with this. And her experiences, like you said, with these little girls are just phenomenal. And to have these people come into that space.
I just noticed that Rachel has a dog next to her. And it's a dog. I like dogs.
Where she's just showing off her amazing costume that she made herself because of the passion that she had for this character.
Good for her. That's great.
I'm not sure where all of the vitriol is coming from, and it kind of makes me sad that people actively.
It's called internet trolls. Internet trolls. I think though, okay. I think based on what Rachel has said so far and the comment that she made, because I think this is when, because again, they're tiptoeing around the issue with me, right? They don't want to say my name. They don't want to call up specific details or any of that. So I'm going to make the assumption, which I could be wrong, but I don't think I am, is that she brought up well, it's on a public space. So, because I made that. I said that, hey, and I've said that multiple times in this video, this whole thing with the Project Stardust, this whole thing, and then her wanting to deplatform me and her reporting my video and all of that, well, guess what? Everything I found in that video was in a public space. And I said that in the beginning of this live stream. It was all public. I found it all publicly. So, and this is the point that I made, is if you don't want to be called a liar, if you don't want to be called out on your lies, then don't lie. And especially don't do it in public. You know, this has nothing to do with trolls and going attacking people on TikTok. That's not at all what this is when it's like different. She's making a completely different argument than what I'm making. But I think the point that she referenced was the point that I was just explaining. And that's how it was trying to tie me into it. But it's just, yeah, you know, Meg lied. I found out that she lied. And I exposed that she lied. And yes, everything was publicly out there on the internet. The trolling and the people going and giving shit. Okay, well, yes, you are going to get that when you're on the internet, when you have a large platform. You should see the shit that I get every fucking day. It's not fun. And what I do, I just ignore it at this point. I take a screenshot and I post it on Twitter and I laugh about it. Right? Right? And I've even gotten tired of doing that because it's just, they've really lost their game. It's not even funny anymore. It's like my eyes roll. I'm like, really? That was the insult? Like, do better next time. But the initial point that she was making, I think, was about me. So that's why I had to stop and clarify.
You kind of like seek that out just to like attack a random stranger on the internet.
People do that all the time. And those are called trolls.
It baffles me. It baffles me to that point.
It baffles me too.
So,
Emily, did you have any experiences you had to share?
I haven't encountered it personally in the fandom. I have been a Star Wars fan, not really vocally until the past few years. And I don't know, I've always been a nerd and people just know I'm into things like that. That said, just because I haven't experienced it doesn't mean I'm not aware that other people do experience it. I mean, just go to any of our Twitters the past day and look at the comments and the retweets. And
go look at my Twitter. This is one thing that I think is a huge problem now is people don't have empathy. And empathy is the ability to relate to another person and to stand in their shoes and to see something from their point of view and empathize with them, you know? And so I think all of these people are very upset. even though everything that they're upset about is not, they don't even have a real reason to be upset about because they agree with me on everything so far, except I don't believe about dictating the way people are allowed to interact, as long as you're not hurting anyone. But everything else that they've said, they agree with me and not Meg. Heck, even the stuff that Meg said, it's contradictory to her actions. And this is why it's, actions speak louder than words. If you look at Meg's actions and her words, they don't line up. But with this, okay, a majority of them are new Star Wars fans, except for this guy, Jason, who talks even less than Meg. But this Emily, she says, she's only been a Star Wars fan for a little bit. She hasn't experienced any of that, which, again, negates Meg's point about the women needing the safe space and whatnot. But she says she's always been a nerd. My question then is, it's like, oh, well, what kind of stuff are you going to if you just got into Star Wars, That would be my question to that. And I actually do want to know, but it never gets answered. But this whole thing with Twitter, it's like, okay, well, go look at my Twitter. Go look at, and yes, I do have a large following. I built that following. People follow me because they're interested in the stuff that I tweet and the stuff that I have to say. And a lot of people get upset when they see somebody trying to be deplatformed, especially when it's people that claim to be feminists, that claim to be for all women and women having a voice, and seeing them attempting to deplatform a woman and, pretend like basically not even acknowledge the fact that I am a woman. They're just trying to deplatform me. It's like, go look at my Twitter. And the only out of them, as far as I'm aware, the only ones that I have interacted with on Twitter is David and Meg. The rest of them, I guess they have Twitter, but I didn't know. I still don't know who their accounts are, right? But anyways, let's get back.
What people are saying, and it's terrible. And
the way people go about it is, you have every right. Sure, if we put stuff on the internet, you have every right to answer and say whatever you want to me. I cannot stop you from saying whatever you want to me.
Mm-hmm.
But that does not mean that you should. Realize, that's one of the problems with the internet. Like I'm not just words on a page. I'm a person. You can see that. You see my couch. You see my dog. We're all real people here that you're going out of their way to attack.
Yep.
We're not engaging with fictional space wizards in the same time you do. It's
not even that. It's the fact that they bring in real life personal attacks against people. It becomes harassment. It becomes I'm trying to find a good word for it.
There are some.
Yeah. It's when the real life bleeds into the fake and in space that's when we start to have a problem. Yes, there's the whole argument of Star Wars. Is it political? Which I vehemently disagree with, and that is a conversation for another time. But it's interesting to see the parallels between the people who say that and the people doing this.
And
doing this, calling to deplatform a woman. And here's the thing, when it comes to politics, whenever Orange Man became president and was running for president to now, has nothing to do with Star Wars, right? When George Lucas did Star Wars, go look at the Empire. What is that based off of? Oh my gosh, it's based on people from World War II. Heck, they're even called fucking stormtroopers. The Star Wars program was something that was, what administration was that? I'm blanking. Because it's funny, is it's mentioned in Silence of the Lambs, the novel, whatchamacallit. But so what George based Star Wars, and yeah, there is parts, the Vietnam War had a big influence on it as well. And there's actually shots of Star Wars that are actually shot for shot like World War II movies that George Lucas grew up watching, that he was interested in, and documentaries that he saw. Heck, my friend Jesse Milestone did a few interviews with Richard Chew, and he talks about that, how the way that they filmed the trench scene in A New Hope was just like some of the documentaries from footage of World War II films. So yes, there is politics in Star Wars, and it does have, it does reflect certain things that happen within the history of the planet, but it has nothing to do with Orange Man and what happened in how many years now, like the past 5 years, including like when he announced that he was running for that has nothing. Maybe new Star Wars because they like to virtue signal, but as far as what Star Wars used to be, it's not that. And that's when you start doing that, and it's to, say, well, we need to say this and we need to virtue signal, we need to shove these politics down your throat. And that's not what George Lucas was trying to do. And heck, that interview that got taken down of him, he explains that. He's like, this is what I initially meant with Star Wars. And, he's like, the first 6 are very much mine. They went on a different path than what I had, but this is what the Force means. This is what the Jedi means. This is all of that. And he explains that and the mythology throughout all of human history, right? And connecting everyone and having everyone be able to relate to one another and stuff like that. George explains that. So yes, there are politics in Star Wars, but it has nothing to do with anything that happened within the past 5 years of American history. Let's get back.
With some of the comments we're getting as I'm reading this. First of all, if you're insulting someone's appearance, you're very brave. Thank you for your opinion, sir.
I don't like that. And this is, again, I wouldn't even call somebody brave. If you have to stoop so low to insult somebody's appearance, you've lost. And when somebody does that, it's like, okay, so you have absolutely nothing else to say, so you stoop low enough to insult somebody's appearance. You don't have any ground to stand on. You don't have any argument. And the only time when appearance really comes into play is if you're going to sleep with someone or not, right? If you find somebody physically attractive in a sexual way, or, it doesn't even have to be a sexual way. It's like, wow, that person's attractive. I can watch the Miss Universe pageant and say, well, I think she should have won, or she should have won because she's prettier. I don't know what Disney princesses are there. I think, Snow White is the fairest of them all, but you might not think Snow White is the fairest of them all. You might think Aurora is the fairest of them all, or Belle, or Ariel, or Tiana. Unless like the conversation is specifically has to do with looks, and if you're like in the beauty industry or the fashion industry, that's where looks really matter and come into play, or in, a romantic setting. As far as this, it has nothing to do with it. And the second my looks have absolutely nothing to do with how I feel about Star Wars. Same with all of them, right? Unless it's one of those things where you want to cosplay as something like this. So the second that somebody comes in and starts saying, oh, well, I don't like you because I hate your face. It's like, okay, what does that have to do with what I said? It doesn't matter because I hate your face. It's like, okay, well, then that's not an argument, right? And so the second somebody stoops so low to insulting your appearance, they don't have an argument. They've already lost. That's in my personal opinion. And I don't like it when people do that, because I'm just like, it makes you look stupid. So, yeah, I agree on this point.
But like with people saying, well, if you're trying to go after someone else, and there's a difference between attacking someone and saying that what they're saying is wrong. A few months ago, we had another big dust up in the Star Wars fandom because someone was going after a Black woman who hosted the High Republic show with some very,
she's talking
very
about Ichibaka,
racist and sexist.
Right? No, Ichibaka did not go after her. I did see some, there's always going to be, sexist stuff going on when you're a woman. There is always going to be racist stuff going on. And guess what? It's for every single race. I've seen people be racist against Black people. I've seen people be racist against white people. I've seen people be racist against Asian people, Middle Eastern people. There are racists out there, and they're assholes. And guess what? The woman, which I'm blanking on her name, what is it, Christina? I think it was a Chris, right? I'll call her Chris. So Chris was getting all of these racist messages, right? She posted it. Good. Anytime somebody does that to you, you share those receipts. You show that. You hold that person accountable. And heck, if I was her, I wouldn't block out the names because they messaged you underneath that handle. You know, they put their name out there. You can do with it as you please. So when she posted the screenshots, I said, good. If somebody's being racist to you, show it. If somebody's being sexist to you, show it. I do it all the time when somebody comments on my videos and says misogynistic or racist or just, absolutely outrageous and sends threats and stuff like that. I share that. I post it and I show people, look at like this insanity, this insane person that's on the internet. At the same time, what Chris, I think what I saw from Chris, and I did a video on this and I said, you can make whatever opinions you want about it or come to your own conclusion. This is just what I've seen from what she said. And she was saying stuff about white people and it had to do with the election and politics and stuff. But then it's like, but she's saying stuff about white people, but she's married to a white guy and they have a son together. So he's biracial. So I was like, I mean, it was a weird situation and it didn't make much sense to me. And I didn't really look too far into it because, again, it had to do with politics and I have no interest in American politics. But this is another situation, again, where I looked at all of the evidence, right? I looked at the screenshots that she posted and I looked at the things that she said, right? And I think there was racism on both fronts there. And so, with the way Rachel is presenting this, it's like when you're doing something like this, you should probably have evidence to back it up, what you're saying, because now she's accusing somebody, aside from the trolls, it sounds like she's accusing someone of something. And when it's something like that, like me, throughout this entire stream, what have I been doing? I've been clicking through these. I've been showing you guys the evidence. There you go. I have everything ready, and if they weren't here, I would have them pulled up and I would be sharing them on my screen. Also, there's over 900 people watching. Please smash the like button, please, and thank you. Let's see what she has to say now.
Just vitriol. It was terrible. And people are like, oh, well, that's their opinion. Why are you trying to shut down their opinion? Well, your opinion ends where you start to hurt other people with it in the case of being harassing, being racist. And that's what people need to realize. There's a difference.
Okay, so again, she agrees with me. If you're gonna be a racist asshole, you're gonna get called out for being a racist asshole, right? When you're harassing and calling for a targeted harassment campaign against someone, Exhibit A, like she just said, that's when it ends. That's when, me, you going and saying all of these things when it, freedom of speech, whatnot, it being okay. Well, guess what? What Rachel just said, apparently she's against what Meg did, because what did Meg do? Meg called for a targeted harassment campaign against me. She, I need to get it pulled up. Let me see if I can find it. She said, if you care about me, if you're my friend, you'll deplatform these people. You'll help me report these people. Even in this one where she's like, click here. You don't even have to go watch the video. You don't even have to give the video views. Go and report this video. It's like that's harassment. That's called targeted harassment. So what Rachel just said, it shows that she's against Meg. She's against what Meg was doing to me. Ironic, right?
Difference between us, saying, oh, we disagree with your interpretation of The Last Jedi. You cannot like it. I don't care. But when you're trying to actively hurt someone with your words, that's not a good thing. That's not something that's protected.
Right. Like, I am super
See? Look at that. Everything that Rachel just said, she agrees with me on. She agrees that this is wrong. Meg calling to deplatform me is wrong. By Rachel's own opinion of that, she agrees with me. She's fandom menace. She's on my side in this. But for whatever reason, again, this is what blows my mind. It's like, you got to hold people accountable, If somebody's being an asshole, fucking tell them, call them out on this. If Rachel is so adamant, if she really believes that, she would have called Meg out on this. She would have said, hey, Meg, this is it. This is literally a targeted harassment campaign against another woman. going and telling everyone that follows you to go click this link to go report a video, and not even saying, hey, I watched this video. I don't, I feel a certain way about it. Watch it. Let me know what you think. And if you think the same way as me, then report it. No, she's like, don't even watch it. Just go report it. People need to be deplatformed, and they're not allowed to do this. They're dangerous, stuff like that. By what Rachel just said, she should be 100% against Meg on what Meg was doing. But for whatever reason, they don't hold themselves. Meg doesn't even think she did anything wrong. That's what blows my mind. They don't see it. It's wrong if other people do it, but when they do it, it's okay.
Interested.
Oh, also, guys, if I leave my mic on, is there an echo? So I'm going to leave my mic on right now when Emily talks, and let me know if there's an echo or not. If there is, I'll go back to muting myself. If there's not, I'll just leave it. So here we go. Let's try. Let me know.
And hearing differences of opinion on the content of Star Wars. Like, I love that so much. And
so do I.
Like, I really do try to think from other people's perspectives and to hear them out when it comes to things like that. And I don't like blocking people, and I won't unless it gets really nasty. But when it turns from talking about the issues or the content into talking about the person and their appearance, or something about the person that you find, I don't know, not to your taste, that's not constructive conversation. That is.
I agree. When you resort to insults, you've already lost the argument. When you interact with people that you don't agree with and you might not like, yeah, that's not exactly a good thing. So Emily agrees with me as well. Ironic, huh? And also, yes, guys, there's an echo. Thank you for helping me with that experiment. I will mute myself now.
An attack at that point, and there's no space for that. There's no reason for that, and it is childish.
Mm-hmm. And it comes from both sides.
It is childish. It is very childish to call for somebody to be deplatformed just because you don't agree with them and you don't like them. Here's the no one likes getting called a liar. I hate it when I get called a liar because I know I'm not a liar. I don't lie about things. I think lying is counterproductive and pointless, right? Because and there is the gray space, because when you have a certain situation, it's like there's what he said, there's what she said, and then somewhere in between lies the truth, right? There's this and I mean, there's been movies about this where it's like, well, no, that person's not lying. And I think it's actually in Star Trek where it's like, no, this person isn't lying. Like, they really believe that stuff, with the Next Generation, where, you have Deanna Troi and she can sense their emotions. She's like, no, they're not lying. That person's not lying either, but their stories are different. And that's when you have to figure out the mystery, right? But so, again, everyone that's spoken has agreed with me, and what they say that they actually stand for and believe in is against this, is against this, is against this, and is against this. None of them are for what Meg has done, but not a single person here has held her accountable for anything that she did, which I find extremely ironic and hypocritical. And I want to know why. Why don't you guys hold, your friend accountable for this? Everything that they have said, that they say so passionately, that they seem to care so much about, how come when they see it being done within their own circle, they don't call that out? That kind of actually blows my mind. But hey, I don't understand. That's why we're doing this live stream, to try to understand, right? And to see what it is that they said. Let's get back to it. Also, I need to pee, so I might just play it and run to the bathroom again. So I think I'm going to do that. I will be right back.
Like, hands down, have seen the extreme on both ends of the fandom space. And it's not an excuse on one side or the other. It's just, if you're being hateful or vitriolic, again, like you said, Emily, against the person, as opposed to the issue at hand, or the topic of discussion, that's when it kind of starts to
kind of veer into the maybe we need to either change the subject or maybe we need to stop this conversation. And like you said, I'm willing to listen. I want to listen. I love everybody's different opinions on just Star Wars life, everything. Like I try not to create an echo chamber for myself because I don't want to live like that. But there comes a time and place where you do have to set boundaries. And sometimes that's just what you have to do. So,
I mean,
and what those boundaries look like are different for every person. So,
yeah. And if you don't like new Star Wars, you don't have to watch it for all of these.
I agree. I agree. Oh no, there was an echo? Oh shit, did I leave my microphone on the whole time? What happened? Was there an echo? Anna's shotgunning. No, this is just my second Mountain Dew. I did pee really fast. Oh my God, Peaches is making me chicken. I'm so excited. I went inside. I was like, oh, it smells so good. Okay, what she just said, yeah, well, let's just get 21 seconds to pee. That's all it took? I was only peeing for 21 seconds? Oh, cool. All right, let's get back to this. We're only 20 minutes in. I don't know if we're going to get through this today.
These people that are telling us, that's one of the themes I saw in comments as I was looking forward through stuff, was that people say that they just don't like that Star Wars is changing, that the new fans, the women, are making it change. It's 45 years old, my dude. Things change as they age. Things get better. We learn more. And
yes, things do get better, but when you get a downgrade, people are going to say something about that, right? And this is, I mean, heck, people, when the prequels came out, I mean, I was a kid when the prequels came out, so I didn't really see any of that. And again, the internet obviously wasn't what it is now back then, but it's like, I remember people, complaining about the prequels, and now the sequel trilogy has made the prequels look like, I don't know, fucking gold compared to the way that the sequels are. So, and I mean, this is the way I explain it to normies. It's like, okay, you get a cell phone, right? You have a cell phone, and you're told that you're going to get a new one. They came out with a newer cell phone, and let's say iPhone. They came out with a new iPhone. Or Android, for whatever people like Android. Okay, they came out with a new phone, and it has all of this new technology. It's so much better than your old phone. Your old phone was on this type of device, or it's this type of operating system with these type of transistors and, screen type of capability and pixelation and stuff. But this one is like the best it's ever been. It's such a leap in how technology has advanced since you had your first cell phone, and here's your new one. So it's like, going from an iPhone, like let's say, okay, we have the iPhone, that would have been the original trilogy, and then the prequels would be like a BlackBerry or the Razor phone, right? Sequel trilogy is a 99-cent store Nokia phone that actually does fall apart when you drop it. It's the wall phone that actually has the cord, where the cord, no caller ID, no screen, no nothing, literally the twisting wall phone that, you can only go like this far away from it to talk on the phone. You are gonna complain, right? Yeah, okay, it changed, but it was a huge downgrade from what we had before. And I'm sure if every single one on this panel, if I explained it to them like this, if they even care to listen, if I said, hey, I'm going to take your phone and I'm going to upgrade, I'm going to do it new, and knowing the technology and the talent that exists in the world today, it's like, oh my God, I'm going to get a new phone. I'm going to get a new phone, right? And then somebody hands you, one of the first telephones ever made. You're going to be like, it's not even mobile. Like, what on earth is this? That's the way I explained to normies the way that the sequel trilogy was. Right? I think that's something everything can understand. All right, let's get back into this.
I mean, hopefully we learn to do better.
Yeah. And just because the story is going in a direction you might not like, that doesn't take away from the part of the story you do like.
Okay, this is a point that I wanted to make. So I'm going to let her finish her point, and then I'm going to tell you guys a story, and see if you still agree with her, and see it. This is the way I would explain it to a normal person, like a normie person.
That part still exists. Like no one is taking that away from you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have the story, right? Just because there's more to the story and the story went in a way that you don't like, story was like this, and then it went in a direction that you don't like. That doesn't take away from what the previous part of the story. So let me tell you a story, guys. Okay, so there was this man who grew up and, didn't have the best didn't have, the best family situation, but he loved to paint pictures. All he wanted to do in life was to be an artist. And so during a time, when we don't have really convenient stores and stuff for art, dedicated art stores, art was very expensive to do. You don't have like canvases that are being mass produced at the level they are now. Paint was very expensive. Brushes was very expensive. Supplies were very expensive. And all this guy wanted to do was to be a painter. That's it. He loves art. He wants to be a painter, and he tries to get into art school. He thinks his paintings are pretty good, right? No, he was not German. He was Austrian. So, grew up in Austria. He loved painting. He submits his paintings in to an art school, and what happens? His dreams get crushed, and his paintings aren't accepted into art school. And so his dream that he had been working at, he's crushed. He can't get into art school. And so, what's going to happen? Let's say if the story stopped with, the first part of the story was, oh my gosh, it leaves you on the cliffhanger. Is he going to get into art school, or is he not going to get into art school? So you watch this guy's journey. You watched him deal with a troubled home life, but he lives in this beautiful part of the world, and he struggles to perfect his skill as an artist, and he's painting, and he's going, he's putting his heart and soul into his paintings. He absolutely loves this. And finally, he does his best work he's ever done in his entire life. He submits his painting into an art school, and he's waiting patiently with his friends, and he's optimistic about the future because he could potentially get into art school and can kind of like Luke Skywalker, learning how to be in the Force and all of that, and gonna be a Jedi and stuff like that. Okay. And even when you end with A New Hope, it's like them getting the medals and stuff, and what's going to happen next. The end of Empire Strikes Back, they're looking into the distance because they're going to have to go save Han Solo. Luke just got his new hand, and it's him and Princess Leia looking in the galaxy. Okay, so let's say the movie or the story, the book, whatever, movie, story, TV show stops right there, where this guy, again, bad home life, was able to overcome it and perfect his skill as an artist because that's what he wants to do with his life. All he wants to do is become a famous painter and share his art and his creativity with the world, right? And you're left on that cliff note, or that cliffhanger. Is he going to be able to go to this art school that he has his heart set on going to? Okay. Story ends there, right? Okay, so by her logic, that's part of the story exists, right? Just because it goes off on a different direction than what you wanted, than what you thought it was going to go, doesn't take away from that part of the story. So then let me tell you the rest of that story, which everyone in the audience already knows. So then that man finds out that he didn't get into art school, right? And instead of saying, well, maybe I can submit my painting, maybe instead of just submitting my paintings to that art school, I should have submitted my paintings into all these other art colleges, right? Or places. And I could go, I could go to France. I can go to Italy. I can go to all of these different places where there's other prestigious art colleges where I can learn and I can protect my skill. Just because that one said no, I'm going to go and I'm going to go explore the world, and I'm going to paint, and I'm going to get better, and I'm going to come back, and I'm going to make that college regret ever denying me entry to this art school. But instead, what that guy does is we find out, he's angry, he's upset, he lashes out. And instead of pursuing his career as an artist, he goes on a completely different path. And he has this, he's very resentful, and he's full of hate, and he gives into that hate and that anger, and he takes it out on people and on other people. But he has that creativity and that passion within him, and he learns that when he talks, people listen to him. So he finds that, hey, I didn't get what I wanted, but I'm finding this other thing. And so he learns that he also enjoys manipulating people. And so he joins this group of people, and they all listen to him, and they like it, and he likes it because, again, he was abused. I don't know exactly if he was abused as a child, but he had a bad upbringing. And so that bad upbringing plays out, and you see that he enjoys getting a kick again out of having people pay attention to him, having people listen to him, and he's getting this recognition that he didn't get from the art college, that he didn't get from his parents, that he didn't get from society. And now people are listening to him, and what does he do? He uses that, and he gets obsessed with power, of controlling things, because everything before that, he wasn't able to control his life. Now he can. Not only can he control his life, he can control other people's life, and it's like a drug to him. He needs to control everything. He needs to control other people in their lives. So what does he do? He slowly starts taking over Europe, or whatever planet, whatever you want to do. But for this story, he starts taking over certain countries in Europe because he becomes a political power, and he uses his ability to control people, to manipulate other people, to do what he wants. And then he sees what all of these people want, which is recognition, and they're tired of being, the embarrassment of the rest of the continent and basically the rest of the world because of what happened, decades ago. And so he sees what people want, and again, he's a master manipulator. He knows how to control people based on the things that they want and they desire. And he says, hey, I can give you all those things that I want, or that you want and you desire, because guess what? I know what it's like to be kicked down. I know what it's like to not have what I wanted. And I'm going to do that for you. I don't want anyone to ever feel the way you did, the way I did. And then not only does he take over a portion of, he takes over the country that he's from, he takes over another country, and he gets elected to the highest position of power in the country. And because, again, he likes to control things, he's a master manipulator. He manipulates people, and he decides these people don't belong in our society, so I want to get rid of them. And he starts systematically getting rid of people that he doesn't like, right? And then not only that, again, he's obsessed with power. He wants to take over everything. He wants the entire world. He wants that power. He likes the manipulation. He gets off on it. He wants to control everyone now. So he's completely lost his mind. He's insane. He's insane on this power. He's power hungry, just like a Sith, and he does unspeakable, terrible things, and he can justify it based on his own twisted ideas on how the world works. Now, me explaining that story to you, does that kind of change the other story that I told you in the beginning about a guy that, had kind of a hard childhood, the world was against him, and all he wanted to do was paint a picture? Does knowing everything that happened after that, he killed people? He killed people. He tried to have an entire, he tried to commit genocide against people. He tried to take over the world. Does that kind of muddy the other story that I told you about the guy that just wanted to be a painter? Or do you think that that's a great story? Do you think that what happened after, do you think that doesn't take anything away from the first story that I told you? Put a 1 in the chat if it does muddy your view about the man that wants to be a painter, which, again, I haven't said the name. People in the chat know exactly what I'm talking about. But if me telling you the 2 parts of that story, if the second part did muddy the first part for you about the guy that wanted to be a painter, put a 1. And if it didn't, put a 2. There's some 2s. Yeah. Yeah, so obviously a majority is 1s. And guys, be honest here, because remember, just in case any of these people decide to rewatch this stream, they can see that. So yeah, I think a majority of people agree with me on this, where the second part of that story muddies the first part of that story. I know a lot of people that can't watch Star Wars anymore because of what Disney did to Luke Skywalker. They ruined his character. They ruined Han Solo. They ruined Princess Leia. And going back and watching the originals, knowing where they all end up, it takes away from the importance of those characters. And just to even explain it a little bit more, when you have a little kid, so my boyfriend has a daughter. She's my stepdaughter. she knows I love Star Wars. She likes seeing my toys, but guess what? She doesn't want to play with Luke Skywalker because her idea of Luke Skywalker is this guy that gave up on life. When I was, a kid, what was Luke Skywalker to me? He was a hero. He overcame all these things, and he's going to be a Jedi Knight, and he is a Jedi Knight at the end. And there's all of these opportunities, and the future is out there. Well, what is he going to do with the future? And knowing that he's, one of the most optimistic and hopeful characters, he's not going to go on an island for 30 fucking years. He's not going to kill his nephew when his nephew is sleeping. Those movies ruined Luke Skywalker. They ruined Princess Leia. They ruined Han Solo. They ruined Chewbacca. They ruined Lando. And so knowing all of that, when you go back and watch the original trilogy or even the prequels, it puts a bad taste in your mouth because it's like, well, now I know where they're going to end up. It's just like the story I told earlier about the guy that just wanted to be a painter. And then you learn that he actually became one of the most notorious villains in history. And he killed millions upon millions of people. And if he got his way, he would have killed all of them, right? That tarnishes your view of the optimistic guy that just wanted to be a painter. So there you go. Let's continue.
And
you
I
can have
remember,
it,
yeah. Do you guys remember when Rogue One started being advertised? And I wasn't super in a ton of fandom spaces right then. I was in grad school. I was a little busy. But people were starting to say, oh my God, it's the social justice agenda. Oh my God, there's two Star Wars movies with women in the leads. And I'm like, there have been 6 of these movies with a man as the lead, and that wasn't a freaking agenda. But now that I have 2 movies with someone who looks like me.
Can I just say, I didn't hear anyone complain that there was a girl in the lead. I didn't. I never heard anyone. I think she and I are the same age because I was in college when these movies were coming out too. And again, no, I didn't see anyone complaining about Rey being the lead. I didn't. Not a single person in my experience did I see anyone complain about a woman. I think the biggest question when The Force Awakens was coming out is, who is Rey? Because if you looked at all the marketing material for her, it's like, well, there wasn't. There was a toy. There was as far as what Disney released from the Disney stores, there was her costume. There was the PVC that had all of them. And there was the die cast figure. There wasn't any of like the 3/4 action figures that I saw. And so it was like, who is Rey? Because who they were advertising was Kylo Ren, Captain Phasma, and Finn. There was talking action figures of Finn. I thought, aside from Rey being so big on the poster, I thought Finn was going to be the main character of Star Wars. Now, I thought, just looking at it, I was like, oh, is he going to be like Lando's son or something? And like, I assumed from looking at Rey, I thought that she's either going to be Luke Skywalker's daughter or Han and Leia's daughter. And Kylo Ren, I knew was Adam Driver, but I was like, maybe he's just going to be a guy in the mask the whole time, right? And it just got a famous celebrity to be the Darth Vader stand-in. And so when The Force Awakens was coming out, I was like, whoa, okay, so he's going to be a stormtrooper, but he has the lightsaber in the poster, right? So I was like, oh, is he like, he's a stormtrooper and then he resists from, the First Order, which is their knockoff of the Empire. And well, my biggest question was like, why is the Empire back? Or is it going to be like Thrawn, where there's still remnants of the Empire? And so he defects and then he finds out that he's a Jedi, and Rey is Han and Leia's daughter, or Luke's daughter, and they're the same age, so they're going to learn about the Force together. That's what I thought The Force Awakens was going to be about, right? And again, on the poster, it's advertised like that. That's clickbait, actually. That is a perfect example of clickbait. The way The Force Awakens is advertised is going to be this big epic, and when you know who everyone is and not knowing who the new characters are, that's what I assumed, and I didn't get what I fucking paid for, right? I didn't. And so again, I got to see him holding the lightsaber, but the way that they marketed it, like Finn, there was a giant talking action figure of him. You had his regular costume with the jacket. You had the Stormtrooper costume, you had the Phasma costume, you had the action figure, you had the PVC, you had the die cast of Finn, both as the Stormtrooper and regular, without the lightsaber, with the lightsaber. And it was all of this stuff for Finn and Captain Phasma and Kylo Ren, right? And then after the movie came out, they showed the action figure of him without his helmet on, right? Okay. Again, I didn't see anyone complaining about a woman being the main character. And as far as the Jyn Erso thing, again, this is why I say show your receipts. Show your receipts when you make accusations like that, because I'm sure that there's a troll out there that complained about it. I'm sure. It's the internet. People complain about fucking everything. I want to see, though, where all these people were that were complaining that a woman is going to be the main character. Because, again, when I saw the poster, I was like, I thought that there was going to be some big reveal with Rey, because I'm like, well, there's not really much marketing of her. Yeah, there's a couple posters, there's a few things here and there, but they really seem to be pushing Finn and Captain Phasma and Kylo Ren. Not so much Rey. Oh, and BB-8, by the way, but that, that's their droid, which also was just designed that way because it was going on during World Cup. By the way, just so you know, when they were doing all the designs for robots, I was like, oh, World Cup is popular. Let's design a soccer ball droid so that way we can get a more international audience. If you didn't know that, there you go. But so with that, it's like, I didn't hear anyone complaining. And, even with Rogue One, it's going to be a war movie. And then, they were talking about all these characters. It was more so, is there going to be a Force user? And who is it going to be? Which I believe everyone is like, oh, it's going to be Donnie Yen. He's going to be the Force user and stuff like that. And it's going to be, a war movie. And, I mean, she's like the only, Mon Mothma is going to be in it, right? And she's really the only girl in that, in the main story and in the main group, which... Again, I didn't see any issue with. I thought that was very in tone with Star Wars because you got Princess Leia, And so it's like, my thought was like, what I thought, I'm like, why aren't there more aliens? Because it's Star Wars and George, this is what George said. He's like, in every movie, he introduced something different, which is true. He introduced a new character, a new alien, a new planet, a new ship in every single movie. And that was my thing. It's like, well, where are all the aliens? Like, this is Star Wars. I want to see a cool new alien design. And they had that a little bit in The Force Awakens, a little bit. It wasn't like a main character or anything like that. It was very, very slight. And so that was my biggest thing, especially with Rogue One. It's like, okay, well, they got the new droid. I was like, okay, what about aliens, though? So as far as this goes, I didn't see any of that. And this is one of those situations where I would need to see the receipts.
As the main character on the poster, now it's someone's agenda.
Let me read this. Tommy, thank you for the super chat. This is stupid. Can I say that girl is cute? I think you can. I don't know. I feel like nowadays, if you say anything complimentary about women, they lose their mind and get mad. Frank, Desty, thank you for the super chat. The woke crowd and cancel culture will never be happy until they cancel themselves. Yep. Yeah. There's some people you can't make them happy. Like right now, I've watched 22 minutes of this. I don't think I'm going to be able to get through it because I've been streaming for over 3 hours now, and we're only 22 minutes in, and it's an hour and 24 minutes. Do you guys just want me to skip to the other part where Meg is, and then I don't know. What you missed my super chat. I'm sorry, Borg Pork. I'm kind of just grabbing them as they come in, and then I'll do a whole super chat thing. But so far, what we have is that almost 99.9% of everything they agree with me on, right? And then I pointed out the flaw in Emily's logic, right? Skip, classic EFAP. Go to the good parts. Are there good parts, though? 3 times the speed. Skip to Meg. Again, she doesn't really talk much, but everything that they've said so far, again, 99.9% of it, they agree with me and they don't agree with Meg, but for whatever reason, they don't call Meg out or hold her responsible for anything. Listen to the argument. I have been. I don't know. What do you guys want? Put a 1. Okay, I think I saw people saying that they want to skip to Meg. I used to fan my 10 hours. Well, here's the thing, guys. I host the Jack Show tonight, which is in 4 hours, a little under 4 hours. So I will be live streaming again on here. No, keep doing it. 17-hour stream, Hobbit. Oh my goodness. So what do you guys want? Do you guys want me to just continue to watch through? Stream for 10 hours, I know. Get Mahler and Rags on. They don't have any investment in this. I don't want to bother them. Jack show is at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Skip. Okay, keep going. Do it. Let's see. Check out Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, IMDb. No. Okay, here's the thing, guys. There's IMDb's for a lot of people in the Phantom Menace. It's made by Troll, or somebody did it in a nice thing for EFAP, because it was an EFAP fan that made it. And then the Trolls took over, and they use it as a way to dox people. So I have been trying to get that IMDb taken out, or taken down for months. I think it's actually been over a year, and I haven't been able to, because the Trolls found it and they're using it to dox people, and it's not right. I see a lot of skip. Continue on. Skip. Okay, let me watch a little bit more, and we'll see, because I don't think Meg talks again until like much later.
There's still, as correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe there's been a woman credited as a major screenwriter on a Star Wars movie. There has not.
Okay, that's a problem to take up with Kathleen Kennedy. And like I said earlier, Kathleen Kennedy is the president of Lucasfilm. This is why this woman, I'm like, you're Phantom Menace. You are. Because right now you're saying that there needs to be more women writers, more women directors. There's only one woman director to win an Oscar. Okay, Kathleen Kennedy is in charge. Kathleen Kennedy should be the one that's held accountable for this, because she has had every opportunity to hire a woman screenwriter, a female director, and she hasn't until now, until after Jon Favreau already did it. So that issue is with Kathleen Kennedy.
Not on a movie, not yet. No,
Not on a movie yet. There has started to be in television.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
with
I mean,
Deborah Chow and Bryce Dallas Howard, those were the first like actual, I think, directors of
Yeah.
anything Star Wars related.
The second unit director on Rise of Skywalker was a woman.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just really with, I mean, talking about that this goes all the way to the top. One of the ways I think we could make women in fandom more welcome, and that extends to every other group in fandom. Let women tell the Star Wars stories. They've been involved. I mean, Marsha Lucas saved New Hope.
Also, I would just like to say, which I don't think she's aware of, my favorite episodes of the Clone Wars are the ones that Katie Lucas, George Lucas's daughter, wrote. Those are the best episodes of the Clone Wars, in my opinion. So there have been women that have written for Star Wars, and guess what? Who hired those people? Oh yeah, George Lucas, not Kathleen Kennedy. George Lucas did it. So that is something that, and if this is a problem that Rachel has, you know, I don't think that that's necessarily wrong, considering she's actually saying what Phantom Menace people have said, what Phantom Menace men have said, what Phantom Menace women have said as well. But it's like, okay, Kathleen Kennedy says the Force is female, right? Okay, then where is all of this female representation that you claim that you want? You know, you want to be open and inclusive to all races and genders, but you didn't hire any women. You know, like she just said, only the second what was it? The second director on The Rise of Skywalker was a woman. Kathleen Kennedy could have started off making Star Wars movies by hiring women, and she didn't. This problem that Rachel has is with Kathleen Kennedy and with Lucasfilm. They should have hired women a long time ago, and they didn't. Again, my favorite episodes of the Clone Wars were written by a woman, Katie Lucas. And Kathleen Kennedy didn't hire her. We know exactly who hired her. Her freaking dad hired her. She said, "Dad, can I write some Star Wars? Here's my stuff." And he's like, "Yeah, of course, Katie." And she did, and they're fantastic. If you want to get a woman to write Star Wars, I mean, it's already been done, but I mean, there you go. There you go. And so what Rachel is saying is what I've said, you know, Kathleen Kennedy, you're not practicing what you're preaching. You know, actions speak louder than words. You claim the Force is female. You claim that, you know, you want to break all of these glass ceilings for women in the industry, but you aren't giving the women these opportunities to do it. You're hiring men instead. And, you know, if a man is the best person for the job, fucking great. I don't think J.J. Abrams or Rian Johnson were the best people for the job. Kathleen Kennedy did, which is why I think she should have been fired a long time ago for making those decisions and losing Lucasfilm millions of dollars. But that's just me. But as far as what Rachel is complaining about, she's saying stuff that fandom menace people have been saying for years now. It seems like she's on our side, right?
So, I mean, why can't a woman tell a story? As much as
They have, Katie Lucas has. Codfish Killer thing. How about you just a good writer and a plan? I agree with that too. I don't care what the person's gender is, as long as they're good at what they do and they have it planned out. Yes, I agree. And then I see this Jesse Padilla. Thank you for super chat. I think your first move is to call the Avengers. Well, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Let's get back into this. Oh, movie.
we all obviously take Star Wars very seriously. I mean, we're here on a Wednesday night telling you about this. Clearly, it's important to us. But
it's important to me too. That's why I have a whole channel. That's why my channel name is That Star Wars Girl. That's why I talk about it. So we have a lot in common, Rachel.
End of the day, it is movies.
Okay, this is the most contradictory statement. It's important to us. It's all, it's important. At the end of the day, it's just movies, though. Those are two contradictory statements.
It is not worth someone's life.
Yeah.
And yeah, coming up, somebody in the comments said that we are going to have a woman-directed Star Wars movie with Rogue Squadron. And how many of us cried when that announcement was made? I sobbed like a baby.
Got real excited about that.
Oh God, I cried like a baby. I cried when I watched
Grant Nevin, thank you for the super chat. Lee Brackett was the original screenplay writer for The Empire Strikes Back before she died. There you go. But here's the thing. This is when research comes into play, which Rachel was saying that she's interested in doing research in the beginning, but it obviously stops at certain points.
The first episode of Mandalorian directed by a woman. I cried like a baby because somebody like me was making Star Wars.
Katie Lucas was making Star Wars. There are women who wrote novels and comics. There are plenty of women that have worked on Star Wars and ILM, the special effects, but apparently women only have value when they're directing or acting or writing, specifically for the films, I guess for some live action stuff. But anyways, let's go. Should I keep watching this? I don't know.
And it was amazing.
And it's not just isolated to the Star Wars fandom. I mean, God, does everybody remember when Captain Marvel came out?
Yeah.
I didn't see Captain Marvel till this last summer, but I felt so powerful when I saw it.
There was some intense pushback, very similar to Rogue One, probably a little bit worse.
Captain Marvel had the same pushback as Rogue One. What? Oh my God. And I think the only reason they brought up Captain Marvel is because of me. I didn't see any pushback for Rogue One. Captain Marvel had pushback because Brie Larson was just a terrible human being. The things that Brie Larson did, which I don't think anyone else in Hollywood has ever done it like this before. She went up for A Wrinkle in Time, right? And she said, I don't care about what a 40-year-old white dude feels about A Wrinkle in Time. It wasn't made for you. And then my thing is, you haven't watched this version of A Wrinkle in Time because guess what? A Wrinkle in Time is a story about a black woman and a white man who have a daughter who is biracial, and she is going on an adventure to find and rescue her father, who is a 40-year-old white dude. So not only are you being racist and sexist against an entire group of people, and I don't think that Brie Larson understands. There are plenty of men out there because it's a black movie, right? Because Ava DuVernay directed it, and they did the color the race swap casting, right? And they made this little girl interracial or biracial, right? Okay. Do you not realize that there are plenty of people in the world that have biracial children, that have married somebody of a different ethnicity and race than them and have biracial children? So you're telling a man, like, if he was still alive, David Bowie, you know, he was married to the supermodel Iman. They have a daughter named Alexandria, right? Or Alexandra. And she goes by Lexi. So you're telling David Bowie that his opinion on A Wrinkle in Time doesn't matter, even though it's about a white man that's married to a black woman and they have a biracial daughter together, and you know the daughter goes on an adventure to look for her father. You're telling him that his opinion doesn't matter. You're telling Bill Burr that his opinion on A Wrinkle in Time doesn't matter because it wasn't made for him, right? Right? You're telling all of these men out there that have biracial children, heck, you're telling all these fathers out there that this movie, or maybe a man that wants to be a father, maybe an uncle, maybe a cousin, maybe a brother, that this movie wasn't made for them and that you don't care about their opinion. Well, guess what, Brie Larson? I'm pretty sure that David Bowie understands a lot better than you do what it's like to have a biracial child and, you know, to the struggle against racism, right? And because, yeah, there are terrible people out there that say terrible things about people that are married to somebody that's the different ethnicity than them and their struggle. I mean, David Bowie's song Let's Dance won awards, and it's about children in Somalia, which is where his wife is from. You know, so you're telling him that he's not allowed to have an opinion on a movie. That rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. That's why Captain Marvel got so much backlash, and then Brie made it worse. She made it worse. She went on all of these. I did a video on this about, you know, all of the she was doing promotion for Captain Marvel, right? And she basically was stealing money from children. So there was all of these GoFundMes in these different cities, and the GoFundMes were specifically so that way they could buy movie tickets for little girls to go see Captain Marvel that were underprivileged girls that can't afford a, you know, $12 movie ticket. And so they needed to do all these GoFundMes to get these underprivileged children tickets to Brie Larson's movie. And not only that, but guess what? Buying those tickets at the movie theaters, you're giving money to Disney, to Marvel. You're giving money to Brie Larson because she gets royalties from all of that. So she's going around promoting these GoFundMes that it's going to buy movie tickets for all of these underprivileged little girls. And it's actually going to be a payday for Brie Larson. So she's promoting all of these GoFundMes that she's inherently going to get paid for because that money is going to go towards her movie. So it's going to show her box office tickets. It's going to make the box office number go, hey, this is how much this movie made because there's all this money that's going toward these tickets. Brie Larson is getting a big royalty paycheck. So she's promoting that instead of knowing how much millions of dollars she got paid to be in Marvel movies and how much money Disney has. Instead of just saying, hey, we're going to actually be good people and help out all these little girls in these cities. We're just going to, in every major city, we're going to buy out a theater for a day, and you can reserve your place online, or you can call in the theater and reserve. And, you know, a parent can come in and, an underprivileged family or an underprivileged little girl can go in and watch Captain Marvel for free. And it's going to be on Disney. They're going to pay out the theater, and they're going to have the theater all day, different showings for Captain Marvel. And it's only for little girls or little kids that are from underprivileged families that meet the qualifications that can go and watch this movie for free. I'm pretty sure the theaters would help and give into that because, you know, they're all about charity, right? But no, what Brie Larson did was she went around and promoted GoFundMes, instead of GoFundMes that were for, you know, medical supplies, school supplies, food, shelter, clothing. It's for a movie ticket that she's going to get paid for. That's why Captain Marvel got a lot of pushback. And Brie Larson is a total cunt sometimes with the stuff that she was saying during the promotion of that. John Miller, thank you for the super chat. I don't like that they are using identity politics mixed with what they like and want to see in a movie. Politics is their main motivation, not good. Yep. Hollywood narcissism, that's bad. Let's see. Fake oppression, scam Disney. Yeah. 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 Let's see. I don't forget charities are tax write-off for rich people. Well, that's another thing. They could have said that was charity. So the theaters, whatever revenue that they would have made that day, they could write that off as, charity, and they could have gotten money back for that and for doing the charity for little kids, for letting kids come see a movie for free. But instead, Brie Larson promoted something so that way she could get a paycheck out of it. It's really shady. So that's why Captain Marvel received so much pushback. I don't think people realize that. And they just want to play it on the narrative that the Access Media presented. Here you go.
First, I think.
Oh, yeah. All Brie Larson said was that she'd like women on her press tours and said that this was a movie written for women.
That's not what she said. And I just said, she said, I don't care what a 40-year-old white, this is how she, I don't care what a 40-year-old white dude has to say about A Wrinkle in Time. It wasn't made for you. That's what Brie Larson said.
There's always been movies written for men. I mean, good Lord, what the hell is the Fast and the Furious franchise?
I know plenty of women that like the Fast and the Furious. Remember how you know what's funny? Remember in the beginning of this live stream when they said, oh, why do you like Star Wars? That's for boys. She just did that. She just said, the Fast and the Furious were written for men. My friend Jessie loves the Fast and the Furious movies. I think I actually know more women that like the Fast and the Furious movies. Because guess what? Women like to look at cars too. Women like to race cars. And guess what? There's handsome men in those movies that women like to look at. So what she just said is she just became the bully that she said bullied her when she was a little kid, or when, I guess with she said she was an adult when she did. So the theoretical bully that makes fun of a little kid for liking Star Wars or for Harry Potter, that was her thing. So she just became that person that said Harry Potter is for boys, not for girls. She just did that because she just said the Fast and the Furious is written for men and apparently men only. And that's why Fast and the Furious exists. Guess what? There's plenty of girls that like Fast and the Furious. She just became the person that she complained about 20 minutes ago. Mind-blowing, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not defending on whether or not it was a good movie. I'm just saying that's just kind of the pushback everything got. Whether or not you like Captain Marvel is against it. But again, it became a whole...
It became a thing.
Yeah. And what Brie Larson said, I don't know. I don't follow her. I just remember
I like it. She said, you don't know what she says. She didn't follow it, but this is her opinion on it.
Seeing that all over everywhere and seeing articles, and I'm just like, holy moly, okay. This is interesting.
I believe, if I remember correctly, she asked that there be women on her press tours because she wanted this movie covered by women. Because
she said, again, I don't care what a 40-year-old white dude has to say about A Wrinkle in Time. It wasn't made for you. And she said a lot of other things too. Is that a personal attack? Like, she's doing an interview and somebody asks her a question and her response is that a personal attack or something? Yeah, the more women on the press tour, yeah, she's did all, we need more women, women. But then does she give jobs to those women? No. And then when she wants to win back the audience because they said you alienated the audience, she shows up on Jimmy Kimmel with like a shirt or a dress down to here showing her cleavage with her boobs all taped up and then a slit all the way up so you can see her entire leg. Yeah, damage control 101. Let's get back to this. But so this is a situation when it's like Hannah is trusting Rachel because I'm assuming that they're friends, but it's one of those times where I think the fact checking needs to happen.
Everywhere she turned, all the journalists covering her were men, which may sound radical, but if you look it up, Eleanor Roosevelt used to only have press conferences with women in them because it meant newspapers would have women as a job.
So why didn't Brie Larson do that instead of, like, why? There you go. Why didn't she do that? You know, she could have said, hey, like, her publicist should have done this. Her agent should have done this, where Brie Larson said, well, hey, I want more women doing this. So I'll only do interviews with women, which is kind of sexist. But the point that she's making with Eleanor Roosevelt, that was a very different time than it is now. You have to remember that. So if Brie Larson actually wanted to practice what she preached, which she didn't, that's the problem with all these people. It's the same thing with Kathleen Kennedy, the force is female. It's like, oh yeah, the force is female. We need to break more boundaries with women. Okay, so then hire more women. Why don't you hire a female director? Why don't you hire a female writer? Why don't you hire, I don't know, an all-female cast if that's what you fucking care about? But she doesn't. Actions speak louder than words. Her actions don't back up what she's saying. What Brie Larson did is the exact same thing. If Brie Larson really believed that, she saw, oh, there's all these men on my press tour, then have her publicist specifically be a fucking diva, which Brie Larson is, say, I won't talk to anyone that's not a woman. You know, I'll only talk to women in this situation, right? I only want to talk to women. I only will allow women to interview me. Which, you know what's actually funny? I like to watch interviews, right? Because I like to get to a sense for a person. And of course, a majority of the time it's Henry Cavill. Almost every single person interviewing Henry Cavill is a woman. Almost every single one of them. There's one where this chick tries to get Henry Cavill to bark like a dog and he says no, but she does it. It's really weird. But so as far as that, what she just said with Eleanor Roosevelt, oh, it's okay. Okay, so it's been done before. So it's not like she's going to be a total bitch and she can just say, oh, she could virtue signal and say, oh, I'm doing what Eleanor Roosevelt and I want to make sure that there's women that have these jobs. She could have done that, but she didn't. What she did was make this outrageous statement to piss a lot of people off, which is exactly what she did to get attention. And she didn't do anything to change the circumstances. What Eleanor Roosevelt did, it's, you know, actions speak louder than words. She made that happen. Her actions and her words matched. What the stuff that she was preaching, she was practicing. What Brie Larson was preaching, she's not practicing. You know, it's all fake for virtue signal, and that's a really big problem. So I think that that's something that more people need to think about, but it is what it is. Let's continue.
It's always been a thing. Women watch out for each other.
Really?
But
really? Women watch out for each other. Okay, there's 4 women on this panel. How come these other 3 women are not saying anything when another woman that they claim is their friend, or actually none of them have said this, what are they doing when one woman is trying to deplatform another woman? They do this show called She Wants to Fight, and then everything that they say on this show is actually in agreement with me. They actually agree with me on almost everything, or we agree on almost everything, and everything that they have said is in contradiction to this, or it doesn't agree with this. It's the actually opposite of this, of what Meg did. So women stick together, huh? How come, even though everything that they have said was actually is against this, and they aren't saying anything? They say there needs to be more female voices within the Star Wars fandom. I'm like, hello. There needs to be more women doing A, B, and C, and I'm like, hello. There needs to be women with larger reaches. Hello. What do? Women have each other backs. No, you don't. No, you don't, because you're on a panel. This girl is supposed to be your friend. How come you're not telling her? And she apparently needs a support group and all of these people to tell her how awesome she is. How come none of them pointed out the hypocrisy that everything they're doing and that they're saying is an exact opposite opinion of what this is? Women stand up for each other. It doesn't seem like, well, I mean, they're standing up for Meg, but I don't know why. I don't know why when everything that they say contradicts or counteracts what this statement is right here, right? Right?
yeah, and it's just, I mean, we're here to stay. Does anybody remember? I don't know if you guys are into DC movies. I loved Wonder Woman, but going back to that summer Wonder Woman came out, do you remember how everyone, like the way women felt about that movie?
I thought it was awesome. I like the first Wonder Woman movie. My mom was excited. I don't really remember any controversy, but I don't think I was even on YouTube when that happened. Okay, so I've been streaming for almost 4 hours. I'm not even 30 minutes into this video. Do you guys want me to do a part 2 on this, or should I just skip to the Meg part? Because I still have a lot of super chats to read, because I have to read the ones that I missed yesterday, and then I have the Jack show tonight. So actually, no, I'm just going to make the executive decision. If you guys want to watch this, I'm going to put the link in the chat. But here, do not harass anyone. If you have a question, ask it politely. Do not be an asshole. Do not send them threats. Again, do not harass anyone. If you guys want to watch this, here is the link. You can go give this channel views. And part 2, oh, you guys want a part, okay. Put a 1 if you guys want me to skip to the part where Meg talks. Or put a 2 if you guys want me to do a part 2 of this and I can do it tomorrow. Let's see. You know what? Should I just put let's see. 1, skip, 1, 2s. Okay, okay, I see it's very mixed. Part 2. Okay. Okay, I see more 2s than 1s. So we're at 26 minutes and 13 seconds. So we will do a part 2 of this. I'll leave it up. Okay. Yeah. I voted 4 times. Okay, well, I see more 2s than I do 1s. So the 2s have it. So we will do a part 2 of this stream tomorrow. I'm going to read super chats now. And, yeah, let me pull up super chats, because I have to read the super chats from yesterday as well. Here we go. Do a community tab poll. That's what I was thinking, but I saw enough 2s. I'm gonna go with 2. We'll finish this tomorrow. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Thank you, everyone. I don't. Oh my God. Okay. Here we go. So from yesterday's stream. McKinney90, thank you for the super chat. It probably destroys her narrative that a mother introduced her son to Star Wars and wanted him to be a Star Wars fan. Well, my aunt introduced me to Star Wars, but yeah, it probably does. And I was talking about them deplatforming me on yesterday's stream. John was in the chat. Oh, he was? Well, John has the link to the stream if he wanted to come on. Let's see. Disruptive Innovator, thank you for super chat. Preferred pronoun question, prophet or prophetess? Oh, yeah, I think I read that one. Prophet. Dax Morgan, thank you for super chat. And I just wanted to pop in and tell you to check your email. Important Teespring question waiting for you. Okay, I think I read that one. Frank Desty, thank you for the super chat. Woke is as woke as Rip Van Winkle. Stand up for that Star Wars girl. Oh, well, thank you. 200 watts studio, thank you for the super chat. Anna, you are awesome. You are 100% real. Unlike some of the fandom menace, you are not just a rage clickbait. Thank you for the respect and respect back at you. Oh, well, thank you. Runs with Phantoms, thank you for the super chat. Prophet isn't gender specific at all. It's like teacher. Oh, well, thank you. There you go. Andrew Ramos, thank you for the super chat. Do you do art lessons? Not really, but when I've done art videos, I explain my process. Ted Comment, thank you for the super chat. Also, have to be careful about what I say about, oh, I think I read that one. Dax Morgan, thank you for the super chat. Well, they say they say me too when I only, oh, they sent me to when I only ordered, oh, I think I read that one. Rich Silverwood, thank you for the super chat. Heads up, Anna, I checked the FOTF YouTube channel. It seems that Meg is one of the hosts of the podcast. Okay, that's in reference to this. Let's see. Dan Carmo, thank you for super chat. Yeah, I just got 2 shirts for the price of 1 too. LOL. Worked out sweet though. My little girl loves it, mate. Love your work. Take care. No crap, mate. You're a jet. Oh well, thank you. I appreciate that. Diano, thank you for the super chat. Justice League Henry spotting 2 hours and 40 minutes. Oh, thank you. These are all the timestamps. I'm taking the screenshot. Let's do this. Let's do this. Yay, I have my screenshots of Justice League Henry, and I'm very happy about it. Thank you. 2 hours and 40 minutes, 2 hours and 53 minutes, 20 seconds, 2 hours and 58 minutes, 30 seconds, 3 hours and 6 minutes, 36 seconds, 3 hours and 17 minutes, 30 seconds, 3 hours and 22 minutes, 10 seconds. Oh my goodness. Why is Henry barely in the movie? That pisses me off. Joel Studio, thank you for the super chat. Anna, you missed my super chat. Well, I read it now. Let's see. Okay, read that one. Okay, yeah. This is from the person that claimed that they didn't speak bad about me. You have. And you sent me super chats back when all of that was going on to torment me. I don't think this person was in the chat now, but screenshots don't lie. Zarnista Studios, thank you for super chat. I have been here since 77. My mom took me. Girls always welcome. If you get banned, my site will go political. Oh, if I get banned. I hope I don't get banned. Girl 8 Loudmouth. Let's see. Thank you for the super chat. Hi, Anna. Love your art. Do you have a Discord? Asking for a friend here. I had one and I just don't use it. I have no interest. I don't like Discord. So I had one and I just don't share it or post the link anywhere because I'm just trying to let it just slowly die. So I don't have to deal with it anymore. But thank you for the super chat. Runs with Phantoms, thank you for the super chat. New stance, Anna. Oh, new stance, Anna. Nuisance and irritants. I don't know what that's about. Ted Comet, thank you for the super chat. You didn't start the fighting, you finished it. LOL. Exactly. And this was my analogy for this. If you pull a dog's tail, if a child pulls a dog's tail and the dog turns around and bites the child, nobody blames the dog. Everyone's going to blame the child because it's the child's fault because the child shouldn't have pulled the dog's tail and the dog was just reacting to its tail getting pulled. That's exactly what happened with this. This was somebody purposely trying to ruffle feathers, and then I made a video exposing what they were doing and calling them out for what they were, which is a liar and a clout chaser, and they're crying the victim and trying to get me deplatformed. That's exactly what that is. Let's see. Zero No Zoo, thank you for super chat. Hey Anna, I just bought a Dune Rebellion shirt and was accidentally sent an extra one for free of cost. So here, take my money. Oh well, thank you. McKinney90, thank you for the super chat. Much love, Anna. Stay strong and looking forward to see more art from you. Oh well, thank you. If you guys want to see that, go over to my art channel, The Art of Anna, TSWG Studios. And then here, that was it for the last stream. Now the new stream, let's see what I missed. Neo Neon Arcus, thank you for that. Mahler in the chat. Wait, in the chat to get Anna to bring in Mahler. Let's get it going, ladies and gents. Was Mahler in my chat? I don't think so. I don't think I saw him. Brian Montgomery, thank you for the super chat. Yeah, I'm learning to play world's smallest violin for Meg. Yeah, smallest violin. Let's see. Matthew Reeves, thank you for the super chat. If you're under 25, is great weight opening for a plateful PS. Okay, I read these ones. CC Ria, thank you for super chat. Reminds me of Anita Sarkeesian saying that getting called a liar is harassment after she got caught misrepresenting video games. I've seen that connection a lot, actually. I've seen that connection a lot. Andrew Warsnaboard, thank you for the super chat. Are you aware of Ricada's 2 a.m. angry drunken rant about storytelling in anime? It was Stuff of Legend. Yeah, I think I was there, wasn't I? Wasn't that on Flash's stream? Cool Man oh, what's up, Cool Man? Hey, what's up? Nice seeing you here. Destroy those losers, Anna. Well, thank you. I think I did multiple times. Low Dog, thank you for super chat. Anne Rice, Vampire Chronicles, and Mayfair Witches is my jam. Oh, thank you for the super chat. Mandatory Carry, thank you for the super chat. It says hashtag keep fighting. GD Chapel, thank you for the super chat. As a man, it's my duty to check your male spawn. I think I read that one. Arib, thank you for the super chat. I want to see Anna Spoke pick. Anna Spoke? Like, are you trying to say like Anna Spock? Anna Spock pick? Maybe. Maybe, I don't know. Let's see. Mustafa, oh, that I think I read that. Borg, what's up? Thank you for the super chat. Anna, I would be your personal bodyguard if you ever needed one. Just like I looked out for you at Comic-Con. Yeah, that was very nice of you. You're kind enough to hang out with me for a little bit. That was awesome. 777, thank you for the super chat. Meg isn't as smart as she thinks she does. Wicked Steel, thank you for the super chat. And also just to go back on that last super chat, I think she is smart. I think she knows exactly what she's doing because she's doing the professional victim routine, which is, again, she pulled the dog's tail, the dog responded and defended itself, and now she's crying the victim. She's saying that she is getting harassed while calling for a targeted harassment campaign against me to get me deplatformed. She knows exactly what she's doing. And even this entire stream, what does she do? She only this is an issue between me and her, but she's not brave enough to just do a video, even though she has an entire channel. She's not brave enough to just have everyone sit there while she talks. She has everyone else speak for her, right? She's having other people defend her and do her dirty work for her because, I don't know, she likes, I guess, watching other people do her dirty work for her, when even though she can run her mouth all day on Twitter behind a computer screen and behind a keyboard, but when it comes to the face and faces, she's just been sitting back snickering the whole time, watching other people do her dirty work. And again, like, she doesn't even talk for an entire minute on this stream, I think. And when she says stuff, she's just completely in denial, and she doesn't have any accountability for anything. She doesn't think she did anything wrong. And so I think she's smart. I think she knows exactly what she's doing. I mean, heck, the way that she worded that, the original tweet with this, she did it knowing it was going to get a lot of attention. She's manipulating people. She's saying, don't even go and watch this video. Just go and report it here. One of her tweets is, if you truly care about me, you'll stand up and you'll report this without any evidence. She's just like, you have to believe me on my word. She's manipulative, extremely. And she doesn't care, apparently. She has no accountability for her actions at all. I think this is one of those times when parents need to come into play. And, I mean, maybe her parents weren't there, but this is one of those times where she needs to be held accountable for her actions. Let's see. Wicked Still, thank you for super chat. Anna, love you, and you're so right about this. Do you need, I think you're right on the code. So thank you. Carl, thank you for super chat. If I had known you were going to review this, I wouldn't have wasted my time watching the podcast last night. Love your channel. Keep it up. Well, thank you. Jugarn, thank you for super chat. I'm a member of the Toxic Brood. Oh, well, hello. Brian Montgomery, thank you for the super chat. That's the problem with groupthink. They think the same, so they cannot separate the individual from the group. Well, that's the thing. They have different opinions on things, but the thing that blows my mind is everything that they say they believe in is, again, 99.9% is the same thing that I believe in. But then the stuff that they say they believe in is the opposite of the stuff that Meg was saying. It's completely contradictory of what this girl was saying on Twitter. So that's why I'm like, why didn't any of you guys point that out, that what she was doing on Twitter was wrong? Because based on everything that they said, what Rachel has said, what Hannah has said, what Emily has said, well, Jason hasn't said a freaking word. David, I think, said something in the beginning. This is all between, you know, Meg and the rest of the fandom, and me in particular, because she was trying to get me deplatformed, yet these three haven't said anything, and it's been Rachel and Hannah and Emily fighting Meg's battle for her, you know? But everything that Rachel, Hannah, and Emily, almost everything that they have said is, you know, it's an opposite of what Meg was actually doing online. So it's very strange. I don't know why none of them can see this. It's very, very strange. Let's see. Count Dooku, thank you for the super chat. You have hate, you have anger, but you don't use them. SJ Almighty, thank you for the super chat, and it's the super stick over the puppy. Thank you. Chris Rapiso, thank you for the super chat. Oddest EFAP I've ever had the pleasure of catching live. Well, thank you. David Nill, thank you for the super chat. Reagan era was Star Wars space program. Yes, I'm that cold. I think I'm that old. Yeah, okay, so I was just blanking on it. So yeah, Reagan was the one with the Star Wars thing, which again, yeah, there you go. Marshmallow, thank you for the super chat. That discussion has been ratioed to oblivion. And don't do that, guys. NG1T EAV, thank you for the super chat, and it's a super sticker of a pair going cool. Thank you. DK Samaritan, thank you for the super chat. Even though Mecha Random 42 is still streaming, I've decided to raid early. Oh, well, thank you for this for the super chat. Tommy. I think I already read that one. John Miller, did I read this one? Oh yeah, John Miller, thank you for the super chat. People don't care about about if a man or a woman is a lead if the movie is good. Don't destroy people's heroes, Luke, and expect people to like it. Exactly. Let's see. Frank Dusty, thank you for the super chat. The woke crowd and cancel culture will never be happy until they cancel themselves. Thank you for the super chat. Robert Romano, thank you for the super chat. That's wrong. Yeah, I read the one. Jesse Padilla, thank you for the super chat. I think our first move is to call the Avengers. I think I read that one too. Codfish Killer, thank you for the super chat. How about just a good writer and a plan? Yeah. Grant Nevin, thank you for the super chat. Oh, I think I read that one too. Let me refresh this because I think it's just showing up a second. Let's see. Okay, where was I? Aaron Berger, thank you for super chat. Love your content. A Wrinkle in Time. I personally don't think the movie evoked the same feelings as the book, but I definitely respect it. I heard the movie was shit and it flopped epically. I actually didn't have any interest in watching the movie. I just don't really like the story, A Wrinkle in Time. I remember the OG movie a long time ago. I remember not liking it. So it's one of those things where I'm like, it's not really my thing, you know? Let's see. Jesse Padilla, thank you. I have to ask this, Anna. How would you react if someone told you have the job to interview Henry Cavill? I would explode and faint, and I would lose my absolute shit. I would scream and faint. That's probably what happened. I predict you would pass out, but how do you think you would react? That's exactly. I would pass out. Darth Cerberus, thank you for the super chat. Technically, you sent me 2 lots of your Vampirella comics, so here's some cash back. Artwork was gorgeous, by the way. Keep fighting the good fight, little hobbit. Oh, well, thank you. Interesting, considering my mom still hasn't received her Vampirella orders, and neither have I, because I ordered it too. Need to send another email. Neither Jesse and Jeff haven't either. And guys, if you ordered the Vampirella cover, can you please email me your name and your order number so I could pass that along? Please and thank you. Cecil says, you have 3 hours to nap. Do it. I'm going. Our RE, but thank you for super chat. Yes, Spock, typo, laughing face. It's okay. It's on my Instagram. If you guys have Instagram, you can go and look at my Spock picture. You can just probably type in that Star Wars girl Spock. Luke Comicski, thank you for the super chat. Does Meg run the FOTF Twitter? No, I think this guy named David runs it. Meg has her own Twitter. All right, let me refresh that, see if there's any after. No, there is not. So everyone, Jack show will be later in a few hours, 3 hours. It will be later here on my channel. And I will see you guys all there later. So everyone, thank you so much for being here. I will do the follow-up stream part 2 of this tomorrow. Okay? Tomorrow we will do this. Well, tomorrow's Friday. Yeah, Friday. So I will do this probably tomorrow morning. Okay? So thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Thank you so much for being awesome. In 3 hours, we will be live for the Jack Show. So until next time, everyone, I hope you have a great rest of your day, morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And may the force be with you, because we are really, 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 really going to need it. Bye, everyone. Hey everyone, I just wanted to let you know, if you didn't know already, that I have an Etsy where I sell prints of my artwork. I got horror villains, Marvel, DC, and Star Wars characters. The latest Star Wars character that I just added was the one, the only, Gina Carano as Cara Dune. Now, Gina herself even loved the painting. So if you want to go check that out, the link is